probably look at doing.
This is the wrong.
I don't know. I might do one either this. Hello, everyone. Another episode of Critique. We're back again. Another week. Another hopefully less angry week.
Nretsew, arguing is fun. Arguing is fine.
Arguing is fun. Yeah,
it's only I told you already, Nretsew, but I'm going to tell you as if you don't know. Nretsew, because we talked for way too long, I missed my grandma movie.
Oh no!
I didn't see Velma.
No!
Because I was too tired the next day.
Rip.
That's the problem. Nretsew, I'll argue with you any day, but...
That's the real problem, yeah.
I argue with you any day, but when it's over 6 hours or so, and then I have to go to bed and sleep and wake up late and be tired still.
So Magician D's got an announcement for us all. Hello, I've come to declare that the true problem with Isekai is that accomplishment of a Duke's Daughter manga is on hiatus. Anything else is mere penance in comparison.
Is it the villainous thing?
Maybe. The villainous shows do be coming. They do be.
Yeah, I shared that tweet.
Yeah,
Can't bring it up right now. It's too much of a hassle. I have to work it out.
It's the Oji-sana.
Yeah, the Oji-san gets transported into a game and lives with his Oji-san sensibilities, becomes a fabulous and polite young lady, noble lady.
As you do.
Just as a preamble, the fun thing to note on that is that it's not a shousetsu work. It's a professional manga thing.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Moving up in the world.
No, it didn't start on shousetsu. It didn't start as an amateur work. It is from a professional manga from the start.
Interesting. I saw the trailer for that on Twitter, and people were talking about it, and I thought, that's I guess all those people that are bitching about about no where's all my my villainous isekais. They don't exist.
They're coming. They're always 5 years after the boom in the light novel and the web novel
Where are
spaces.
they? Where did they go?
I
Most
mean,
people
when
finally
did
be quiet. Yeah.
when did destroying Hamefaru why did you
Yeah. When did that come out? I don't remember.
just let me grab my timeline.
You gotta update that again, make it
Yeah,
2020.
it's getting. I mean, I started once with nothing, so updating it, even though it's like I only really need to update how many years? I guess like
two,
2 years.
guess.
So it's not no work in comparison to what I had to start with. But anyway, Hamefaru was in I have to check, 2020, so 3 years ago. And that was kind of the start. So if we can say that Hamefaru was the successful example of which more villainous stuff came out, yeah, that kind of tracks, kinda.
Kind of. It kind of tracks a little bit.
Hamefaru was written way early, 2014. But still, yeah, that's also kind of tracks. 10 years after it was first written as some amateur work. I mean, Mushoku Tensei was written in 2012 and only came to become an anime in 2020. That's 8 years. So 8-ish years. That's all tracks.
Indeed. So today's, because we are talking about the isekais, we're going to be going back to basics, back to
Yay.
a good old classic isekai episode. It's been a while. It feels like it's been a while since we've done an isekai episode. Actually, I can't remember when the
Yeah,
last
people
one
don't
was.
complain about it as much anymore. But
No, I think it's because people kind of, I think the cow has been milked, the well has become dry, right? The anime masses have finally decided to stop fucking whining about it all the time. But this was one that I think you popped this one into the queue and were like, oh yeah, this looks like it would be a fun one, and I gave it a little look and I was like, oh yeah, all right, seems like it might be.
yeah, I gave it a check, and I didn't really vet it that thoroughly, but maybe the start will be a little bit slow. But I saw plenty of stuff to complain about.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So anyway, let's jump on over. And let's see what we got. So we got how one anime fixed isekai's main issue, and I'm already
Nretsrew, what
seeing
is
the
Isekai's
problem.
main issue though?
Yeah, well, we've already got like multiple main issues have shown up on the screen right now. I have seen this sentiment though, right? This idea that Freeran, right, showing up has somehow disrupted the flow of time or something, right? It's caused a disturbance in the ether because it's so good and the isekais are bad, so because it's a fantasy show and not an isekai show, makes it so much better than
there is something to be said that isekai kind of replaced fantasy shows in general, because all fantasy shows were an isekai.
At least
in
for
that
a
way.
while. At least for a while. And I can understand the frustration with that, right? In a sense. But I feel like part of that is just there's not been a lot of. To my knowledge, I can't think of a lot of like big fantasy manga that have, or light novels that have kind of.
I mean, do you count something like was it Demon Blade?
Demon Blade? I think I know what that is. I don't know. Well, there's one that's coming out soon, which is is that the Country Bumpkin Swordmaster one got announced for an anime?
I haven't seen that one.
I know a guy on Twitter who's talked about that. The manga is apparently quite good. That's going to be another one that's going to ride and die on its animation. Because it's all about sword fighting, and they did the stance that did the thing to do the thing to that's not well animated. That's oh boy, that's not gonna go well. But that's like the only, because I believe that's kind of a fantasy, but it's like because it's not an isekai, so it's a sort of a fantasy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I mean. Like I can't, maybe I'm just kind of blind to it because I'm not watching enough, right? But I can't really think of anything that's at least been in, I don't know, my public osmosis, right? That would probably count as being that. So I can understand the frustration, but I feel like the issue we run into here is people kind of feel like one is cannibalizing the other. The existence of isekai means that people are just not doing fantasy works anymore, right? Which I don't think is true. I think there's plenty of, if an author wants to make a fantasy work, they just have to make a fucking fantasy work. If they want to make an isekai, then they're just going to make an isekai, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
mm,
you know, the robot series also kind of died, kind of. I mean, there you it only really existed in a form of code geass for a while. But Gundam still exists, which for Mercury came out and was a big deal. So maybe, in a year or maybe 2 years, there will be two other big mecha shows. Things.
maybe.
And yeah, it's kind of. Freerun had a lot of initial marketing, initial effort put in. It wasn't a sudden surprise that it became a hit. It was already kind of calculated in. The special airing of the first 4 episodes, the somewhat long length of it, 2 cores all at once. So Freerun wasn't the surprise hit. It was already known to become a hit in that way.
Yeah.
Of course, it could still have failed for some reason, but it was expected to be a hit of some kind. So
Yes.
Freerun didn't save fantasy. It was, hey, look, this is a good show, which is a fantasy. Let's put in some effort behind it, and maybe there was some momentum between fantasy isekai, fantasy that is somewhat isekai-ish, good fantasy, maybe that kind of flow. But Nretsew, what's this the problem? This is all kind of circling around. What is the one big problem with isekai?
Yeah, what is the one big problem with isekai? Maybe we'll find out.
I have, of course, one problem with isekai.
Oh, do you? What is your one
The
problem?
goddamn cultural imperialism. You see, because of
all right.
No,
Well,
all right. To be slightly real for 1 second, if I were to make a video, which I keep saying but never doing,
you keep saying but never happens. Yeah.
No, there is something inherently colonialism in isekai, right? Stranger comes into the new world, is super powerful, changes all the rules to be more like Japan.
Yeah.
You can
thing Japan, yeah.
Yeah, so you can if you were to point in some inherent flaw in isekai, it's kind of the colonialism, the imperialism of putting your culture onto to others. Somewhat. That's my only vague guiding through line in how a genre can have a flaw into it of itself.
Well, and I don't really have much of a problem with isekai in general because I don't, some isekai are good, some isekai are trash. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
I don't have like an overarching, oh, this is a problem with the genre, right? I don't have any real complaints about that because I just see it as a storytelling mechanism.
Yeah, isekai is not really it's not even a genre. It's of course a convention.
It's not even a genre either, right? It's like it's just a tool, right? It's a setting, right? Here is a format that I can use for my story, right? And whether or not that story is going to be good or bad,
film protagonist is not a genre.
Yeah, film protagonist is not a genre. Yeah, So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, the story that could be within that isekai or the thing within that isekai might be good or bad, but I think a lot of the time people kind of do this kind of generalization problem, right? Where they'll be like, oh, look at all these quote unquote isekais and look at how bad they are, and they don't really stop and think about the individual works themselves and their own merits, right? They just kind of it's a very dismissive mindset.
Yeah,
right?
but
Very
enough
dismissive
waffling
mindset.
about. We've been here for what
Enough
is it?
waffling about.
15
God,
minutes. Terrible.
there's been
Nretsrew.
yeah, I know, terrible. There's a meme. Maybe I'll bring it up because it's fucking funny. It's from the new Arknights event with the rice fields girl, and it's like her sitting in like a rice field, and all of a sudden a guy comes up and is like, "Could you stop fucking around?" And then she starts making fried rice. It's fucking hilarious. I might have to bring that up. But anyway, let's stop fucking around.
For over 10 years, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood remained uncontested as the highest rated show on my anime list. This is understandable. Few anime excel so consistently across the board. Some contenders appeared every other season.
Do I sound like this?
We were 5 seconds away from 30 seconds, Ellie. You could have waited.
No, but I do I sound like this?
No, you don't.
Damn, because he very much has the accent, the same accent.
He has the video essayist fucking like it's not just the accent, right? He's got the what is it? The music from fucking
I don't know where I heard it a thousand
what
times.
What was it? Rogue, Metallic Rogue, the Metallic Rogue song.
Is that so?
Which is probably where he got it from, right? Oh shit! I also forgot. Oh damn! Because Samu's not here to fucking remind me, so I was like, oh shit, I forgot. But anyway.
Oh no, but Nretsrew, he has a Dutch accent, that's what I hear.
Oh, does he? I didn't pick up on.
Oh,
that.
he says bored.
He's just bored. He just sounds bored. Yeah.
No, but he says. I mean, he says across the board.
Across the board. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is is more of a Dutch accent thing. But I
know there's friendly fire going.
Yeah.
Friendly fire. But I do like this is a very video essay from the start, right? For the 30 seconds, right?
I'm not going to say. Oh, I mean, I think the intro is a bit standard still. Too much emotional setting.
Yeah, that's my problem with it too. It's too much, he's setting a mood, right? He's setting a mood, and that mood is classical music, intellectual. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for top of my anime list for.
There's not that.
Yes. Funnily enough, that's completely off topic. People have been talking about Full Metal Alchemist lately, because My Hero Academia ended, and it was a bad ending. It was a very bad ending. It was very bad, because they tried to do a very similar thing to what Full Metal Alchemist did, but they didn't pull it off. Which, spoilers, I guess. I don't really care about spoilers for My Hero Academia, but he loses his powers, and he becomes a wage cuck. Is the ending to My Hero Academia. And what he's trying, and from what I gather, right, because I haven't actually read it, right, and I'm going to get there eventually in the anime, from what I gather, he, the author is trying to convey the message of you don't have to be the big main character hero man to live a fulfilling life, right? But the problem is it doesn't work in My Hero Academia, because My Hero Academia is set up in such a way where, Deku loses his powers to kill the bad guy, so and so, big sacrifice. Yeah, that's great and all, right? But then it's like, well, what does he do after that, right? And it's and the way it's presented apparently is just, he gets a 9-to-5 job. All of his friends apparently forget about him. The world forgets about him and what he did and all this other stuff. And it's just kind of like, and there's parallels to Brotherhood, right? Because in Brotherhood, Al, I believe it's Al.
Yeah, he loses his alchemy thing, all right?
He gives up his ability to do alchemy to reset everything, get his arm back, get his brother back, and do all the stuff, right? and his brother ends up getting to continue to be an alchemist and have alchemical powers, and like his brother's ending is that he gets to tour the world with his Chinese girlfriend, and his ending is that he gets, because that's the thing in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, he gets the girl, right? He gets his wife. He rebuilds the family home. He has a family. He has a kid. He builds. He's living the dream, right? He's having a great time. It's not just he gets a 9-to-5 job and gets forgotten by all of his friends. Like, even in the end of Brotherhood, like, they all come together at the end and have like a final, because Alphonse is about to leave to go to like China or whatever, right? They all kind of like, have a thing, and they all remember each other, and they all like, have a party and stuff, right? And it's all happy. But from what I gather from how My Hero Acca handled that, it's just like the message is there, but it's not executed well.
All right, so I had a quick think while you were speaking. The thing why it works in Fullmetal Alchemist is because the trauma of loss and alchemy itself was kind of the problem of L, right? Alphonse lost, made a big mistake.
Is it Alphonse? No, it's Elric.
Elric, alright, Elric. Alphonse is the brother.
I get them mixed up. It's been fucking years.
Elric, L. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. It's Edward. Alphonse is the brother.
Yeah,
Alphonse is the brother. That's a suit.
Edward is his name.
Yeah, Edward. I'm pretty sure is the
the short red, the coat guy.
We'll get corrected in the comments.
Maybe.
Fake fan. Anyway, continue.
Years. No, the problem was they did a bad thing with alchemy, and it caused a whole trauma. And he had special powers, but that special powers come from sacrificing his arm and brother. Hey, David.
Yeah. And the whole story is quite literally about the whole story is quite literally about them trying to fix the fuck up that they did.
Yeah,
right?
And giving up alchemy to fix what you did with alchemy is a nice whole circle, a neat circle.
Yeah, and it works because it's not like, he just became a loser. Right? It's not he loses his alchemy and now he's just a fucking ordinary fucking Japanese salaryman, because get the fuck back in the fucking office cubicle, Wagey.
So right? how I would see an ending in this way for My Hero Academia. Of course, I stopped rather early. When I stopped, it wasn't early that I stopped, but now looking back, I stopped rather early. There was a whole symbol of peace. He inherited the power to protect peace. Big, powerful. The ending should kind of reflect that these symbols of peace are not needed anymore. That he is not needed to be a symbol of peace. We are all together a symbol of peace.
Yeah.
Him losing his power should then be more of that he protects the peace without powers in some way.
There is apparently something where like he gets a mech suit at the end or something, and I don't know. It sounds it sounds really fucking stupid.
That still sounds
because basically there's like an
power.
8-year time skip. There's like an 8-year time skip that happens, right? At the last chapter, they're like, here's an 8-year time skip, and here's where everyone's at, and it's like Deku is like literally just a wage cuck, and it's like, that's so dumb.
Give him a emergency response manager role or something. Let him be.
I don't see, like, because again, I haven't read it. I heard that I feel like the better ending would have been him to replace All Might as like a teacher at the school or something.
Even without powers.
Even without powers, yeah, I think that would have been the better.
That would be kind of cool, Yeah, I don't have powers, but I can tell you how you're doing wrong with your powers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that was his whole thing from the beginning. Was he was really good at identifying like quirks and stuff, right? And he had his notebook and shit, right? Like,
I forgot the notebook, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you had like the notebook that he was like writing everyone's quirks into, and like, oh, here's like the pros and cons and how to yeah, oh boy, like they could have worked into that. Like, there's way better ways to do it. But yeah, sidetrack aside, because we got really sidetracked. Boring video essay, man, is boring.
Dutch accents.
Dutch essay, man, is boring, right? Yeah,
Hey, don't be mean again to me.
Yeah, I got sidetracked because he's talking about like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's been getting talked about today because people are comparing it to fucking
and then
My
we're
Hero
talking
Academia,
about
and it's
the
funny.
endings and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't figured out what part needs to be fixed yet, David. Hopefully, we'll find out soon. So let's get to it.
But the hype eventually died down, and in time, FMA reclaimed its spot. Until now. A year or so ago...
Yeah, okay, so I hate to immediately pause again, but why do we give a fuck about male ratings again? Oh, Fullmetal Alchemist was at the top of the ratings, and now Frieren is at the top of the ratings. Oh boy, it's a big woo.
Yeah, you should make me care first. Give me website hits numbers, something to show me the impact of Mel, its reach and its popularity, its cultural impact.
Why should I care about Mel ratings?
Don't say,
right?
Oh look, it's no longer the top of Mel. Show me Mel has so many users, so many people, so many whatever, so many votes. That is more people than are subscribed to Crunchyroll or something.
Yeah.
Oh damn, more people who watch Crunchyroll voted that Frieren is good. Alright, that means something.
Yeah, because I'll be real, I don't put a lot of stock in Mal or whatever, right?
Yeah,
it's
but
like Rotten Tomatoes,
I can make
right?
you care. If I say more people have rated Frieren better than there are subscribers to Crunchyroll,
yeah, that says something.
That means
true.
something, even if you don't care about
Mal. And that's
Mal.
not like the impact of Mal itself, right? Because the issue I have is this idea that Mal is this like be and end all of like, oh, if it's bad on Mal, if it's got a score of 6.552554, it's a shit show or whatever, right? And it's just kind of like, it's like trusting Rotten Tomato reviews, right? You know?
Yeah, all right.
So the reason user score and critic score are not the same, and they fluctuate between the two, right? I feel like people put too much stock in that rather than making their own judgment about something, right? I feel like people put too much stock in Mal.
Yeah, but I'm weird. I wasn't. You were in the YouTube anime critic thing space,
the
right?
sphere, yeah.
I wasn't. I am totally out of. I don't know any of the cultural history, the oral history of early. I guess early
the great Mesopotamic history of AniTube, yeah.
It's all lost on me. It's all past me.
But anyway, let's let him cook.
Yeah.
I bought a fantasy manga from a store. I don't know what I expected, but I know that I did not expect much. Not only was I taken completely by surprise, but I fell in love with it. And when I heard Fullmetal Alchemist was dethroned, I had a feeling that Frieren had taken the spot.
Yeah, because Frieren was airing.
It's here to stay.
Yeah, because Frieren was good.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want?
How is the show going to take over if it doesn't air?
He's so fucking dramatic about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I picked up the manga from the bookstore, and I didn't know what it was, but then I found out that my era could. It's like I get the vibe he's going for. It doesn't jive with me. It doesn't jive with me because it feels fake. It feels forced to me, right? Like he's manufacturing this like chill. Oh, I'm intellectual. I knew all along, but I'm presenting it in a way that makes it not sound pretentious, but it does sound pretentious because of.
I can say the exact same things about reading Overlord. I read Overlord. Yeah. No. It got an anime.
I thought Overlord was pretty good, and then it became an anime, and people liked it. or didn't
Well,
like it, right?
I actually started reading Overlord after the anime, but the point is,
yeah, it's yeah. I don't like it. Something about
I mean,
I have a thing.
I read, the Oji-san become, teleports into the consciousness of the Ojo-sama. I read that manga before it became an anime. So, and now next I'm going to hear it's Dethrone Frieren.
Yeah, it's gonna different. God, but it's like no, the real one that's gonna dethrone Frieren is the fucking monster fucking.
What's that name again? Something.
I can't remember what his name was, but I might have to go find it again. But that one, that'll be the one. I'm telling you, you just wait. That gets animated.
Alright.
But it's one of those. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's just a vibe check thing, right? Like I don't like the guy's vibe, right? It feels. I have this thing where I get really annoyed when people don't feel genuine, I guess, right? And I don't know, the whole it's like when you have like I don't know, you're watching some kind of lawyer or some kind of like law tube or some kind of other thing, and they have like the whole fucking setup with the giant bookshelf and the fucking giant chair, and he's in his suit, right? And he's like looking all posh, but he's putting that on as a like almost like a facade, right? He's putting that on to show to the viewer, look, I am an important person. I am big lawyer man. I'm gonna tell you about the law, and I have all these books in the background that imply that I've read all of these books and I'm super smart. And I do, like I feel like I don't gel with those kinds of vibes. I much prefer the kind of like, our boy Joe, right? Like he's got good video editing, but he's not like, sad, monotone voice,
No.
voice.
By the way, speaking of good manga that is getting an anime, Witch Hat Eltier.
Oh yeah, the one, the social justice warrior one. Yeah, I know the one.
I don't know that one.
Twitter's not real. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't worry about it.
Alright.
just enjoy your Witch Hat show in blissful ignorance, Ellie. Don't worry.
Alright, I'll do.
I'm not gonna ruin it for you. But anyway, let's get back to Monotone Man. Let's see what he's got to say. These also these long like pauses with just the music playing as well. It's like okay, guy, okay, man, come on. But maybe this is why the video is 18 minutes, is because he keeps doing that. He keeps putting all these like fucking 5 seconds, like, oh yeah, quick cut. Oh man, it's so cool. I got the music and I timed the cuts to the music. Oh man, I'm so good. Anyway, maybe I'm being too mean. I don't know.
I don't know. The piano does is.
Yeah, holy shit, still going. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, we get it. We get it, mate. Come on. There you go. Fuck.
Second chances. What?
Jesus Christ. Also, it was the Depravity Records of an Immortal Girl is the name of that one. Yeah, that's a good one. That one would be really funny if it got an adaptation. I'd be like, yeah. Oh, it'd be so funny. I hope it doesn't get cancelled, because I heard the light novel got cancelled or ended prematurely. But apparently the manga's apparently now going past the light novel, which is interesting to think about how that's happening. But
and it's based on a web novel, I assume.
I think it's based off a web novel, light novel, or something. But the light novel apparently, like, because I was reading in like the translator's notes at the end were like, oh yeah, the light novel got cancelled because it wasn't popular enough. So hopefully we could like make this one popular so that it keeps going because it's fun, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it continues because I really like it. I think it is quite fun. It's quite funny. But anyway, second chances. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Over the course of the last decade, no genre of anime has exploded in popularity as much as fantasy, to the point that you could say Frieren has entered an oversaturated market. And amidst the ever-growing
I think is he doing that thing where he's like, oh, all isekai anime are fantasy anime, and that's why fantasy is exploded.
Kinda. In the whole.
I mean, but he showed a bunch of shows that weren't isekai, right? Like Margus Bride is not isekai.
No.
Neverland, I don't think is isekai, right?
It's kind of Alice in Wonderland-ish, from what I gathered.
I haven't. No, Promised Neverland is like this weird thing. From what I haven't watched it or read it, but I've heard it's quite weird. Yeah. Anyway, let's let him cook.
catalog of fantasy anime, there is a boogeyman, a subgenre whose growth clearly stands head and shoulders above the rest. Isekai, or another world, hinges on the idea of a character, usually from our own world and era, being taken to a different realm. This is not a new idea in fantasy. There are many examples of such journeys in Western media, and fantasy anime has been foraying into this genre since the 90s, with titles such as The Vision of Escaflowne or Inuyasha. The protagonists of these stories were often children or teenagers, living through a fantastical journey meant to evoke amazement and wonder in the viewers, while also signifying growth and change for the characters. Very often, the journey into another world is the last that they will ever make, as growing up means leaving the lands of fantasy behind and returning to the real world. But over the course of the last few years, the nature of the genre has changed.
There are some framing.
There's a few problems with that. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. I think that him saying fantasy anime has has gone into this, right? Like again, that he's doing that hyper anime focus thing, right?
Yeah, I think to say that the fantasy show series, stories, fiction has dabbled in people being transported in some way to the fantasy realm is correct, right? It is correct.
Yeah.
Nothing to say, nothing to complain about it. The thing is that Isekai has its own thing, right? Star Wars is based on just hero's journey stuff. Just knights in space. Star Trek is way more with, how does society work? What does this say about society, different people, different cultures, meeting customs, where to intervene, where not, when to intervene, when not. That's Star Trek. To say that they're both science fiction, but you can't really say something like, oh yeah, there was all these bad sci-fi like Star Wars, but then the science fiction Star Trek came out of it. Well, no, it didn't came out of it. It's a different thing. And there's the problem with just in the same breath saying Alice in Wonderland, Escaflowne, and Mushoku Tensei. You can't say these things in the same breath because they come from different origin points, different lineages, different ideas on what this story is going to be.
I agree. I think it's just an issue of the framing because a lot of what he said there wasn't necessarily wrong, right?
Yeah, it's what I've said. It's a kind of a framing issue. It's
yeah.
You're going to go into very wrong directions if you're going to say that isekai somehow, corrupted.
Yeah, somehow corrupted the pure fantasy maiden has been deflowered by the evil isekai ugly bastard.
Yeah, but your immortal girl, your the brave journal of an immortal girl has far more in common with has far more in common with overly cautious hero than it does. Was another just normal fantasy show. whatever, just a fantasy show.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there are orcs and elves in the Brave Journal.
Yeah, well, we just got done with the Goblin arc, so.
Yeah, so it has far less in common with Lord of the Rings than it does. It has far more in common with Overly Cautious Hero. Far more in common with Slime.
Right,
So
yeah, because she spends her time at the magic school working on the invincibility spell and the immortal spell so that she can do her depraved stuff, and then the rest of the story is her just doing her depraved stuff, and then the girl that has a crush on her has shown up and is going along with the depraved stuff because she wants the girl, and it's quite funny.
yeah,
So
but
so
even something
you
like
could argue, like, because you mentioned Overly Cautious Hero, right? And you could say, yeah, it has a lot more in common with like the overpowered characters of Isekai, because she makes herself overpowered specifically to kind of get away from the whole like her actions having consequences problem.
or even
Right?
300 years of killing slime. She killed slime for 300 years, and now she is the all-powerful witch who just sits in her home the entire time.
Mm. I think one of the funny things is I talk about like not having consequences to her actions, but there kind of is, but it's not for her. It's because spoilers for like the early chapters, because the first arc is like the tentacle bed, right? So she goes into like a cave and she gets like taken in by the tentacle monsters, and the tentacle monsters breed her, and she has a bunch of tentacle monster babies, right? And then she like leaves, but the problem is, right, that now there's like 100 something tentacle monsters running around.
I had a feeling that things like that would
yeah,
happen.
and that's the emphasis for the other girl to go after her, because the was it the council or whatever, like the political fucking shit was like, why the fuck is there like 100 something tentacle monsters running around, and where the fuck did this all powerful witch girl go? Well,
That
wizard
sounds
girl go?
more
What the
like
fuck?
Overlord, where...
In a sense, but then and so they send the other girl out to go find her because they believe, because she, well, actually no, because I misremember, because what happens is they're like, where the fuck did all these slimes come from? And the other girl puts two and two together and is like, ah, fuck. And she goes out to try and find her on her own, because she's like, of course it was your fault. And then they meet up, and then she's like, oh, why don't you just travel with me? I'll cast the immortal magic on you, and we can have fun together. It'll be great. We'll go on a
Yeah,
journey.
but
And she's like,
if you're going to say from O Fantasy is now all depraved monster fucking...
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Well, no,
it's like
blame
one
Isekai.
work.
Blame Isekai for
Yeah.
this. Blame it's Overlord, but with sex instead.
Yeah, so was 6.
Political consequences out of mundane actions from an
Who
all-powerful
cares?
being.
Who cares? Oh, there's a whole bunch of fucking like tentacle monsters running around now. Oh, who cares?
Yeah, and
I got to have fun for a season. It was great.
yeah, Ainz does a wave with his hand, and his minions do something, and he doesn't really intend it to happen anyway. But
oh shit, the village is gone. Ah, bugger.
oh, bummer!
Whoops.
I didn't know there was a village to begin with. Oh damn!
Yeah, whoops.
That is an Ainz move in a sense. So yeah. But to finish that sentence, if you're going to blame, you cannot blame fantasy, your regular standard fantasy for this, or even like not even Dungeons and Dragons stuff. You can't blame for this. You have to blame things like Overlord instead, and that's the problem. Going back to the video, that's the problem with lumping everything together. That's mechanically similar. You're missing out what is actually what followed from what.
Have you watched? No, Joshua. I don't think I've gotten around to that yet. I know you linked me a bunch of stuff on Twitter, but I'm like, I'm busy and I got stuff to do, so I don't normally. I try to get around.
Is that a musician of some kind?
I don't know, but I try to get around to stuff, but I don't usually get around to stuff just because I'm fucking Yeah, I have things outside of doing the cast.
Like working in the factory.
Well, you work in the factory. I do other things. But
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, back to the video. Let's see what we got.
The characters being taken to another world are often adults now. Disillusioned Japanese salarymen, bullied shut-ins, or otherwise ostracized people who feel like they missed their chance at life. Unlike the isekai of the past, this is almost always a one-way trip. A second life following a premature death. The worlds of fantasy that these characters go to have also begun to all look suspiciously similar, with classic Dungeons and Dragons fantasy tropes such as elves, dwarves, and demons. But then there is Frieren.
So there's an interesting conversation to be had about why this is happening, right?
Yeah, Nretsew,
Big,
even if you
big society arguments, right? Because
Nretsew, even
there
if
is
you
an
didn't
argument.
know
Yeah.
yourself, you have heard me say it 1,000 times. You say it for once. Why are
Well, I
all these
guess, but-
stories so similar?
Yeah, well, there's that, but I feel like this is part of the conversation he's missing out, right? Because there is a reason societally why the protagonists of these isekais are shut in, or they're salaryman, or they're, oh god, what was I reading? I was reading something. I don't know if it was a Twitter thread or if it was someone talking about this somewhere. But there was someone made the point of one of the reason this is happening is just because of the way that Japanese society has changed away from the, like people are realizing that, the salaryman lifestyle is not fun. It's not great. And they want to escape the fucking hell that is working 40 hours a week in a fucking office building, right? So naturally the stories that are going to come out of that are going to be, oh man, I fucking hate where I am now. I want to go somewhere else. I want to go to the fantasy world and fuck the elves, right?
Yeah, but this is also
and have my elf waifu, have my hot elf waifu or my hot dragon girl waifu or whatever, right?
That's also because these are amateur stories written by amateur people who write about themselves, kind of.
Exactly, yeah.
So they write about their own lives, and their life is of a salary worker, of someone who's somewhat alone or isolated. They write
they're
about
an otaku hikikomori or something, right?
Or they write about their super specific niche, like, oh, I know.
Yeah, like pharmacist or lawyer or librarian or whatever, right?
Or expert on medieval European inheritance,
warfare or something, or inheritance, yeah, exactly. So there's, I feel like there is a conversation that could be had about, okay, well, why are these stories getting made? What is I think the real problem is we don't have access to the authors to talk to them about this, right? Because all of those resources are obviously going to be in Japanese, and people aren't going to read the Japanese. And I don't think there's enough people out there taking the Japanese and translating it into English so that people can kind of get a better feel for, why did the author do this, right? What was the motivation, right? Because we know for some of them, right, we know about the Overlord author's D&D stuff, right, and how he based a lot of it off D&D campaigns he used to run, and how when his friends started to kind of drift, and have lives, right, he was like, oh shit, this sucks, and then he wrote a fucking story about it, right? He wrote a story about it. So there's we know that because that kind of did get trickled down from the Japanese to the English, right? We did have some translation going on there where someone managed to find that little tidbit of trivia and it got kind of passed down. But most, I don't know fucking shit about the Frieren author. I don't know what their motivations were, whether or not they were influenced by Lord of the Rings, whether or not they were influenced by other fantasy works, right? I don't know anything about the motivations behind, maybe they suffered a situation like Frieren where they had a family member that they didn't get to know, and then that family member died, and they were
of course,
bad.
Nretsew, there is somebody who talked to a isekai author.
Oh yeah, we know.
It is Pause and Select.
Yeah, Pause and Select, the one and only, yeah.
And he
So
he talked about I linked the article right for now. He talks about he talked to the author of Faraway Paladin.
Yes.
And he
yes,
says,
he's
all right, so what blah blah blah, what influenced you to present the spiritual and religious world of Faraway Paladin as it is? And the answer to why is the religion this way, he says, in the tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, I prefer paladins and clerics.
Yeah. Exactly.
And why did you choose Shosetsu as your platform? It is the biggest.
Yeah. Magic is similar to computer games. How did you craft your magic system? I drew inspiration from Yusha Koba Degren's Tales from Hysteria. I also drew on some of so he's he's got some fun influences. Yeah, exactly. And so Joe did this for this. You see, I wish there was more stuff like this, right, out there, right, for authors. And it can be hard because obviously authors, they're busy people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing their work, right? They're, as we saw from Oshi no Koi, if it's a manga or a mangaka, right, they don't have time to fucking sit down and talk to some dumb fucking Westerner, right? Those bloody, English speaking people. They don't got time for that shit. So it's understandable why there's not a whole lot of those resources available. But I do feel like there could be, a better conversation, right, and a better wanting for that information from the Western side of things, instead of just making like educated guesses and assumptions, right? Because something that I've talked about a lot on the show is like, artists are fucking people. You could just talk to them,
Yeah.
like they are, but it's not like all of this stuff is just magically fucking willed into existence by Japanese wizards. Right, is the analogy I like to use sometimes. Is like people think that anime and manga is just this mystical fucking thing that the Japanese wizards summon from another world, right? They use like a teleportation circle or something, and they do like a special cultish enchant to create the anime, right? That's why I'm kind of like, people need to remember that there is a human being behind the pen, right? And that human being has influences and has reasons why they do things the way they do things, right? And instead of perhaps falling into the trap of, oh, the Japanese are doing it again, right?
Yeah, right.
Those silly Japanese are making another isekai. Oh boy!
Joe has another interview, Inori, and it is very bluntly says, what led you to writing otome game isekai? Isekais are popular on Shosetsu. Villain is popular with women.
Yeah.
Making a isekai villainous game story. Why did you have a office? Why did you go with a company office lady? I guess as a protagonist. A lot of readers on Shosetsu are working women. So went with a female office worker because she represents a lot of working women tired with their job. Oh, what a simple answer!
Holy shit! It's almost also exactly what I said about why do they do that? Oh, because the workers not happy, life bad. Oh no, overworked, boss is an asshole. Oh god, want to escape. Oh, I can read this manga about a office lady. Oh, I'm an office lady. I do that. Oh, they get to be in an otome game. I know what that is. I play those, right? So, it reminds me of when Joey interviewed the. Samu's arrived. You missed your conditioning, Samu. I'm sorry. You might get another chance later if I need to get another truck. But so it's kind of like so kind of the issue that you've got, right, is people make these assumptions about these works and don't really look like we're doing right now, like deeper into the reasoning behind them. Because this reasoning sounds a lot like the reasoning behind Redo of a Healer, right? because Joey did that interview of Reader. I'm not gonna stop being mad about the fact that Trash Taste doesn't fucking do those kinds of interviews more often, because they have the fucking access. They are literally owned by Kadokawa. They could just ask Kadokawa, hey, can we slot in, like, I don't know, an hour, like, we'll pay the author, right? Literally pay the author to do the fucking interview, right? Just get them on the fucking show, and we'll have a live translator or something and fucking interview an author, right? Because that interview with the author of Redo of a Healer, with his funny ass fox mask, his funny ass fox mask and his stuff, is actually really interesting, because he talks about, hey, why did you do this? And he's like, oh, because there was a lot of revenge stories on Sosetsu or whatever, and there was a lot of these kind of like really gory kind of series. So I thought, hey, what if I, instead of making it like gore, I made it like sexual violence? That's something different, right? And I did it as like, he literally just flat out says, oh, I did it as like an experiment. I wasn't like expecting it to blow up. I just thought, oh, I'll just try this out and see if it gets popular. And then it got really fucking popular. And he was like, oh, cool. Sweet. It was, oh, nice.
Yeah, and one of the main reasons why people write isekai instead of just a normal historical work is because Nretsew, there's the potato police.
Yeah, the potato police. Yeah.
The archery police, who are complaining, oh no, our potatoes were only cultivated in this and this era, and therefore this and that didn't exist. And archery, those bows could only fly that far, and so these battles couldn't have possibly blah 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 blah.
Those assholes, yeah.
Oh no, I have magic. Those bows are made with magic wood, and therefore they can fly farther.
Also,
harder.
Joshua, I did see. Yeah, would you like to talk to Shoujo Sato, the creator of Tragics? I kind of would. If I had access to these authors, right? I kind of would. But again, it's like I said, I also don't want to like. I think that might be part of the problem, is people don't want to like interrupt the authors while they're working, right? Which is why I was saying with Trash Taste, right? Trash Taste could literally just pay the fucking author, right, for their time, because their time is worth a lot of money, because time they're not working on the work is time they're not working on the work, right? So if they're under Kadokawa's wing, Kadokawa could say, hey, we'll pay you fucking by the hour to fucking come on an interview and just talk about your work, right? That would solve that fucking problem, right? But they don't do that, right? They don't do that for whatever reason, and it fucking annoys me. But anyway, now that the usual suspects have re-entered the chat and we've got the boys back in town, we should get back to the video. But anyway,
Isekai ramblings,
which also has a relatively traditional take on fantasy, and yet now stands as one of the highest rated anime of all time. How did it not get lost in the crowd? What makes it stand apart? In a way, I think it has isekai to thank for its success. So, the thing about isekai protagonists is that they usually have it suspiciously easy. Regardless of whether they maintain their body, are reborn, or transformed into another race, these characters are often unreasonably favored by their new world, or find a way to cheat its rules. This means that they usually find themselves provided with advantages that allow them to overcome any challenges they encounter.
Solo leveling isn't the isekai.
And also a very weird kind of example, because solo leveling is all about the power scale and how he gets more powerful over time, and so he doesn't start out as a badass. So kind of a weird example. Also, yeah, Joshua, I do see a question there. I haven't read or looked at Tragics in a long time, so I don't actually remember. I don't actually remember any of the characters from Tragics, sadly. It's good. It's good show though. It's a good show. I just don't. It's been a while. It's been a long fucking time since I watched it. So, but back to the guy's point, right? Yeah, a lot of the isekais are overpowered in a sort of power fantasy kind of way, or they have a very hyper-specific skill.
Yeah, but the thing that I haven't said in a while, because maybe we haven't done an isekai video in a while. fighting prowess isn't the point of these stories. It's getting if it's an escape from the terrible soul grinding work of Japanese society, it's about being free of it.
Yeah.
It's about finding the time and an ability to have relationship, to communicate, to form connections. It is in Overlord, another famous example is it's about the actual the how hard it is still to be honest and truthful and to live up to expectations no matter where you are. Name another isekai show and it's about some other mental social hang up people have. It's not about they can blast away a dragon, but can they blast away their insecurities of social interactions? No.
Can you hide the pain?
Yeah.
Can you hide the pain? You can kill a dragon in one shot, but can you hide the pain? And you're right? And I feel like it's kind of it's not like he's wrong, but at the same time, there's more going on, right? It's like what we were talking about before, right? There's more happening than what he's letting on. And that's very annoying. But anyhow, let's continue.
It also does not hurt that a colorful cast of characters is often waiting to receive them with arms wide open and offer them all of the friendship, affection, and loyalty that they never had in
I
their previous
appreciate
life.
Zero Tsukaima.
Yeah. And also David makes a good point. Let's not pretend that non-isekai manga don't take advantage. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. It's like
also
it's not like these other non-isekais don't do the same kind of things, right?
All right, so the vast, overwhelming majority of the places that the Enterprise visits and has problems with in some way, the Enterprise can blast the entire planet into smithereens.
Yeah.
Right? They have super space weapons. They're the local problem between a mine and the environmental water that it pollutes. Yeah, I have a spaceship that can blast nuclear bombs at you. That doesn't still solve the issue. The overwhelming power of a Federation Enterprise class battleship, whatever, isn't the point.
Has someone been watching Star Trek lately?
Yeah, it's the same thing, Nretsew. Your Enterprise, your fancy spaceships can blast the entire city they have a problem with away. That doesn't solve the issue. It doesn't hide the pain.
It doesn't hide the pain. Fuck. I'm just thinking about all the episodes where they've had problems that are really these complicated pseudo-political things. It'd be so easy. Just shoot a phaser at the guy.
Yeah.
shoot him with a phaser.
Why aren't they shooting their phasers all the time, Nretsrew? They are overpowered.
There was an episode. There's an episode with. I love Data. Data's like my favorite fucking character.
Data's a good character.
Data is fucking amazing. The one episode where it's like Data gets kidnapped by the collector guy, right? And there's this like thing where Data is like going to literally murder this man, this horrible fucking man who just murdered like a girl for no fucking reason, right? Just murders this girl, right? Has no fucking. It doesn't give a fuck about life, just wants to collect things for his collection or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this like, Data has to like kind of determine whether or not he's going to shoot this man who's not, I don't remember if he was unarmed. I think he was unarmed, right? And he's like, am I going to fucking murder this man? And I believe the outcome was that he actually fired the shot, but the transporters kicked in and beamed both of them onto the Enterprise and the guy got arrested. Yeah,
that's a good solution.
The context is Data is an android. He doesn't have human emotions, supposedly, right? He's not actually human, and he's run on logic, right? But he's making an emotional choice. Like his logic would say no, and his ethics programming would say no. You can't shoot the unarmed man, even though unless he shoots upon you first, right? But Data makes a decision that violates his own programming technically to shoot this man, right? He was going to murder the man. It's said explicitly in the episode. We detected a phaser blast when we teleported you. And what was that about? And Data just doesn't say anything about it. Data's just like, what? No, yeah. So it's an interesting question. See, it's a very complicated and interesting question.
No, so they should have just blasted the entire place they were at and
it
rebuilt.
Fuck. Look, Data's an android. They'll just rebuild him. It's fine.
Yeah.
Blast the whole thing. But it's I'm just reminded of that episode because that was a really complicated kind of scenario. That was you could have easily solved it if Data was like a fucking Terminator and he just blasted the man right away,
or just shoot from space. Why not just shoot from space?
Yeah.
In that
exactly.
sense, alright, to finish up the point, in this sense, Star Trek is just an isekai with a way overpowered. They have an entire crew. They are all soldiers in a sense. They all have super space weapons and space armor and whatnot. The
only time it becomes like an even playing field was when the kind of I would say most of the different factions are kind of equally powerful, right? Because the Klingon
Ferengi, Klingons, yeah. But if they're just visiting a planet,
Ferengi and all that, I'd say they're all equal. But then the Borg shows up, right? And I think that's why they kind of introduced the Borg as a threat, because the Borg shows up and the Borg is like this fucking force of nature level threat for a while, right? That shows up, and it's quite intense, because they can't, all the weapons mean nothing against the Borg. The Borg just fucking repairs itself, right? It does. Oh, you have a fucking giant phaser on your ship? Oh, ha ha ha! Fuck you, right? Does nothing to the Borg, right? And they kind of have to figure out creative means to get around the Borg's thing. But the Borg is constantly evolving, so the Borg ends up finding its own countermeasures, and it becomes like an arms race type thing, right? So there's interesting stuff to talk about there with that. None of that's getting talked about in this video, though. So
no,
that's the problem.
The Star Trek Enterprise is just as powerful as Overlord, and they have the same combat potential in a social situation.
In most scenarios, yeah. Most scenarios. Unless it's like a direct confrontation between two factions. But it's if it's they go to a planet and the planet has issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't just blow the planet up to solve the issue, right? I mean, it does solve the issue, but it's not like...
Yeah, but that is just like Ainz that is going to a place.
Holy shit. Okay, so in the 60s Star Trek, there was an episode where Kirk gets transported to an alternate, evil reality where the Federation is like a fascist dictatorship, and it's
isn't that Starship?
It's the very first Star Trek, right?
All right.
With Captain Kirk, right? He gets transported to because there's a transporter malfunction, and the two Captain Kirks get switched. So the evil Captain Kirk goes to the normal Enterprise and gets quickly arrested because he's acting like a fucking Hitler man. Gets quickly arrested, right? But normal Kirk goes to the fascist one. Yeah, the mirror universe. Yeah, 650 knows what I'm talking about. And so the situation is they're on a planet, right? And they have to get I think they had to get these aliens to vacate the planet for some reason, right? And in the alternate universe, they were going to do we'll just blow up, we'll just glass the planet and kill everyone. That's So that was the conflict of the episode. Is good Kirk is trying to stop the bad Enterprise people that are trying to assassinate him. Because there's this whole plot line where whoever kills the captain becomes the captain. So they're all trying to kill him.
Troopers.
Right? Yeah, they're all trying to kill him, right? So that they can become the captain, right? And he has to navigate that while also trying to not commit genocide, right? On this planet. And it's a very interesting episode. But yeah, it kind of ties into what you're saying, right? Like there is like the alternate universe where, yeah, the Enterprise would just glass the planet, solves the problem. We need these aliens to move. They don't want to move. Okay, exterminate us.
That is the true. Nah, that's not even really that is Gate. You watch Gate for episodes.
Yeah. Fuck your dragon. I have a tank. All right, but anyway,
I have an F for a 16 or whatever it was.
an F-16. Yeah. Fucking all right. Let's continue.
Hey, wow, I don't think I've been in one of these alone with a girl situation since I was in grade school.
As most of these stories inevitably become power fantasies, the side effect is that they lose depth. This is not helped by the fact that
Do they though? I know we just got done with a tangent, but do they lose? Has Mushoku Tensei lost depth as it becomes a power fantasy? Okay. First problem. What is wrong with a power fantasy? Is the first problem, right? Because people like this like to act like there's something inherently wrong with a power fantasy, which I think is reductive. It's a very bad way to think about it, right? Because I don't think there should be anything necessarily wrong with, I don't know, SAO or whatever being a power fantasy where you self-insert with the guy, right, or whatever, and you're doing cool stuff. Like who cares, right? And then the other problem is I don't think that a lot, like Shield Hero, maybe you could say it's lost depth over time, but then again, I think that's more to do with the overall drop in quality of the series over time, right?
Mhm.
Rather than just like an inherent problem with the genre, right? I don't think that you know that's because he has Shield Hero on screen. That's why I'm using it as an example, right? And so I don't necessarily see an issue. And of course, now we're going to get into the argument of it's all same. They're all the same. All of these characters are all the same, Ellie. They all look the same. They must all be the same.
All
right?
right, so I recognize two of them already. One is from a otome game. It's hard for mobs in an otome game.
Hang on, because let's see, because I stopped him mid transition, so let's see if he has some more examples to come.
protagonists are almost always a blank.
There you go. Now we got look, now we got all of them. We got Gate Man. We got Shield Hero Man. We got
Ragnarok,
Man.
Smartphone. I don't know the middle. I mean, one of his all combatants deploy or something is next to Shield Hero. I don't know who is above him. I don't know who is next to the guy who is above him.
Subaru's up there in the corner.
Next to Subaru is Handyman in Another World, which is just that is funny. I haven't seen the show, but this is more of just a complaint. They all look the same. These are not. Most of these shows aren't them overpowering. The whole point of otome game protagonist is that he's a man in a woman's world. He has no social clout. He can, sure, he gets some respect and a title and whatnot, but it's still a woman who rule the world. If he offends a woman, he's in problem.
Gate is less about his power and more about the power of the Japanese military, so it's a bit bit different.
So, and they don't become more powerful. How's the army in Gate become more powerful?
Yeah, and again, it's not about the individual Gate Man, right?
Yeah,
it's not Gate Man who is the big power man. It's just it's the and so again, it's like this complaint is really annoying because
also it doesn't match what he's showing. It's a problem.
Yeah, and I think that the whole they all look the same, right? It's the same argument that kind of happened with video games, right? With the the white male shooter protagonist thing.
Yeah, bald, shaven head,
but bald army man or whatever, right? And it's like the reason that happens is because they want you. They're aiming for anyone to be able to relate to that character, right? It's like Commander Shepard, right? Commander Shepard, if you're the male Shepard, obviously you're the bald Shepard, and that kind of became like the iconic look for Shepard, even though you can like the character creator in Mass Effect is not great, let's be honest, but you could theoretically make your own Shepard in Mass Effect, right? And have him do
I
his
don't
own
think
thing.
you could give him hair. I think he was always
No,
bald.
you could give him. You could give him. He had some hairstyles. He had some
Yeah?
hairstyles. Yeah. It was hairstyles, and it was the females got hairstyles. It was hairstyles. In it.
Yeah, but
People forget there was even a character creator in Mass Effect because people just run the default anyway. So, but my point is like the reason is because like that kind of setup, right, is like default, default character, right? Like that it's default. You're able to project into the character, relate to the character, and then you take that idea and then okay, now you're in Japan, right? What is the Japanese version of Blank Slate Man? Well, it's this, right? It's, he's just an ordinary looking guy, Japan, right? And so I feel like this criticism is a little bit too harsh because it's almost like they're expecting the characters to all, like, there's going to be like, oh, this one's got fucking, like, silver here, and this one's got red here, and, like, wacky anime. Why don't they have wacky anime designs? And it's like maybe that's because that's not really the point, right? There's a difference between a character like this and a character like Edward Elric or Deku from My Hero Academia or whatever, like because those are characters that are meant to be their own characters, right? In a sense, these guys are meant to represent the average Japanese dude who's a salaryman who just wants to fucking watch a show where he can imagine himself blowing up a dragon with a tank, right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. Although I would give in Bland Land, I would give some. I'll give Shepard a pass because he was one of the early ones, and that just became a long-running series with the same character. So by the time it became tired to have a bald army man or shaven-headed army man, he still had it. It was, he was just
more
a
like
little bit
generic. It's less bald, but like generic, like Nathan Drake from Uncharted looking people, right? Is kind of more the complaint. There's like memes about it. You can find the memes about it.
Yeah, and I do agree it was a problem.
I think it was kind of a problem, but I feel like the issue is they're just trying to create a relatable slate, right? They're trying to create what is like if you think about like, okay, what does default Western man look like, or default Japanese man look like, right? So I don't really think it's like a fault of like the artists per se. I feel like it's more just sort of a natural, like if you're going to be doing it for the cynical, like the cynical view is, they're doing it because they want to make it mass marketable. How do you make it mass marketable? Well, you have to have a protagonist that anyone can relate to and anyone can, sort of plaster themselves to, right? And that's going to end up looking the same. It's going to end up with a bunch of characters that look the same, right? And that's not necessarily bad if what you are going for is, hey, I just want, like, can you imagine if you tried to do, like, I don't know, Shield Hero, where he's meant to be like an ordinary Japanese college-aged man, right? And instead of him, like, looking the way that he does, he's got, like, I don't know, fucking piercings and a fucking mohawk and he's like a punk rocker or some shit, right? It doesn't work, right? It wouldn't be relatable to the average, because the average like Japanese college age man is not a fucking punk rock man, right?
I am. The only thing I am now thinking of is kind of like Oshinoko, which does have a kind of varied cast. Even if you take out,
I think that's because it's like it's the difference in what they're trying to go for, right? Like what they're trying to do and how they're trying to differentiate the characters from each other, right?
Yeah. Shall we go back to the video?
Jake comes in and says it's default looking blank slate because Isekai is pulp. It's not cynical. It's calculated. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of more what I'm trying to say. But some people would say that it's cynical because capitalism bad or whatever. So, but anyway, it's a calculated choice, right? Just like the redo of a healer author choosing to do sexual violence is a calculated choice for an experiment, right? It's the same thing, But anyway, let's go.
Yeah.
canvas designed for self-insertion by the reader, so they cannot have much of a personality or a backstory to begin with. Ultimately, the worlds of isekai anime become superficial amusement parks for viewers to engage in wild and unrestrained wish fulfillment.
I need more power.
There are exceptions which try to compensate for the failings of the formula by making the world more interesting, or that attempt to subvert.
I have my timeline open.
Oh, yeah, here we go! Timeline time again. Here we go.
When was that? That's what? How is that show called again? Shadow Emissary? Oh, no, it's not an isekai.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, it is isekai.
Eminence and Shadow. Yeah, Eminence
I
and Shadow,
haven't put it in because it came out later than I made.
Yeah,
it
you'll
seem.
have to. Yeah, again, you need to update your thing and put it on.
Emissary
more
of
like
in
Isekai
in
author
Shadow.
was never a
put it in.
mangaka, so they ends up getting an average Joe of a mangaka to draw the story. Hence, the MC looks generic as fuck.
All right.
Maybe.
Emissaries in Shadow was first written in 2018. It's only 6 years ago when it started. So Mushoku Tensei tried to correct for the mistakes of Emissary of Shadows in 2012.
Yeah. Obviously.
All right, Nretsrew, I'm looking through this list, right? And thoughtful isekais, right? As thoughtful as they all are. Mushoku Tensei is 2012. If I'm just going forward a bit, I'm not really seeing anything that would be considered as thoughtful. I mean, something like Overly Cautious Hero thoughtful in that sense? Or would you rather consider something like Bofuri or Mobs Have It Hard in the Otome game? Because those came out way later than Mushoku Tensei. And even something like what was it? Outbreak Company. What do you know of Outbreak Company, Nretsew?
That's the one where it's like the guy goes, it's like an ambassador, isn't it? He's like an otaku guy.
Yeah, he's an otaku that is Outbreak
He's
Company.
trying to do they try, instead of gate where it's military victory, it's like cultural victory.
Yeah, but this guy, maybe you should watch it because it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's good. I've had it on my list. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Outbreak. An otaku gets sent over to fantasy worlds to get them addicted to otaku stuff, also to make them incompetent and easy to conquer. So what does it say about what the author says is the view of otaku stuff in society? Corrupting and degrading society. That's why you send it over to another world to corrupt and degrade that society over there. But nonetheless make them subservient to your culture.
Right.
It's just something that I came up with. A somewhat complicated relationship with your own export product. You don't actually want your own people to watch it and see it, but it's also your most powerful cultural product.
Yeah, it's quite weird. It's quite interesting. Way to think about it. All right.
I should make a video out of it.
Yeah, maybe you should. Maybe we should. You should do original content. But anyway, let's continue.
By turning protagonists into actual characters. Despite this, the idea is so systematically misused that it has obfuscated the potential of this approach to storytelling.
God, that was pretentious as fuck.
What is this approach?
Yeah. Hang on. I got like break that down because he did this. He used a whole bunch of. I'm a fancy man. I use fancy big words. Okay. So, hang on. What did he actually say?
Exceptions which try to compensate for the failings of the formula by making the world more interesting, or that attempt to subvert it by turning protagonists into actual characters.
Okay.
Despite this, the idea is so systematically misused.
The idea is so systematically misused.
To have characters be characters.
No, hang on. No. Listen to what he's saying.
Actual characters. Despite this, the idea is so systematically misused that it has obfuscated the
That it has obfuscated.
potential of this approach to storytelling.
That it has obfuscated this potential of storytelling.
So isekai, the potential of isekai storytelling.
Yes.
All right.
So isekai is being systematically misused, and that is obfuscating the potential of isekai as a storytelling method.
Yeah. Just write good story. Just write good story.
Write good story, bro. But no, I don't like it because he's using a lot of big fancy words to say not a lot, right? Like you could have just fucking said, you know, I feel like isekai is being, you know, the potential of isekai is being wasted on this trash, right?
Yeah.
Like that's because that's basically what he said.
Well,
right?
even
But he said it in this way that's like really pretentious, right? Like, oh, the potential is being obfuscated. By
so how I would say this, if this is what he's actually saying, of course, is that too many isekai that are airing as anime are showing a easy way of taking it the easy way, whether it is overpowered characters, little to no consequences, etc., that it actually obfuscates the potential of isekai to show interesting worlds, interesting scenarios in which the main character or other characters can live in something. Does did that sound more interesting, Nretsew? More clear?
Sounded a bit more interesting, because I guess the issue is like you have to like actually be concentrating to fucking pick up on what the fuck he said, right? Because again, he uses these really complicated words that and systematically misused. Like, what the fuck does that like? Is anime like a fucking legal system or something, right? Like, because the only time I ever hear the word like systematically right used is like in certain settings, right? It's not,
I mean, that is just
that is reaching more like most isekai authors are amateurs. Yeah, like David's more on point, right? It's like it's not like it's not like the fucking industry of creating isekai is systemic. Right?
Well, it kind of is, because Shosetsu does make stories conform to a certain format, a certain way of feedback, etc., etc. So, if you have a problem with the systematic, with the groundwork on which these isekais are written, then you should blame Shosetsu.
But how do you misuse Shosetsu, though? That's the problem. How is it misused, right? That's the problem.
I guess in the same way where you have store-bought Unity assets to make a story, I guess, or to make a game.
You're misusing those Unity assets, yeah. All right. Enough of me being anti-intellectual. Let's get back to the fuck. Yeah, he made it sound like a conspiracy theory. Listen, Ellie, you have to understand the isekai authors. They're systematically misusing the genre. They're turning
the deep whatever.
They're turning the weebs gay with their systematic misuse of the isekai genre to put out this trash. We have to break the conditioning. Break the conditioning.
Break the database.
Break the database. Break the conditioning.
The deep database.
These authors are demons. Literal demons. Brought here from the seventh circle of hell to systematically misuse these guys. Yeah. It's fucking great. Anyway, let's keep going.
Not to mention that it cheapens the quality of its fantasy.
Again, what the fuck does that even mean? It cheapens the quality of its fantasy. What do you mean?
Of its believability, of the genre of fantasy,
of its immersion, right? Of its immersion. Are you not immersed in the world because it's an easy, like? What does he mean? He does sound like Alex Jones. Alex Jones, the video author. God, I really okay. So I know that I know that Almighty Lolly, right? He likes to use AI Sal Goodman from Breaking Bad or whatever. Someone needs to do one of these videos that's like perfectly straight, but they use like AI Alex Jones for the Isekai video. To be fucking like just play it straight, but it's just Alex Jones. It'd be fucking hilarious.
These offers are
these
literal
offers, they're literal yokai. They're literal yokai, Ellie. You don't understand, right? They're turning the weebs gay with their systematic misuse of the isekai genre to devalue the fantasy. It's causing massive problems. You don't understand.
The Yuri. I mean, have you ever noticed how much it sounds like Yuri? And you know what Yuri is?
It's all Yuri, yeah.
Gay.
It's all gay stuff. It's all gay. They're trying to turn you gay, but they're putting the Yuri in the water.
They're turning the lesbians gay.
They're turning the lesbians gay.
They're turning the lesbians Yuri.
Fucking great. Alright, let's keep going.
Failure is disheartening. Loneliness is difficult. But they do not justify the hopelessness, lack of accountability, and self-pity that have seemingly become typical of isekai protagonists, who often act like they are owed a second chance.
Guy is not an isekai protagonist. That is a guy that just became Finn.
Also, there wasn't like... Wait. I don't see this, right? What do you mean owed? Is most of the time, like, we've got Slime, I think, on screen right now. He was just an ordinary guy who seemed relatively happy with his lot in life.
Yeah.
And he gets stabbed. Like, what do you mean?
Oh no, the guy that was punching the mirror.
Yeah, I know, but now it's like Slime Guy, right?
Oh yeah, but sure, video was playing while I was talking.
Video, yeah. But like, what I'm saying is like, what does he mean by like, oh, a lot of these protagonists feel like they're owed a second chance? Like most of them get killed by weird, random Truck-Kun circumstances, right? They don't. It's not hell, like Shield Hero guy. He's just reading a book at the library. He wasn't really expecting to get a second chance that day, right?
Standard fantasy. That's the most classic transported into the fantasy world. Reading a book. Yeah. How many stories started with? I picked up an old book in my grandma's house. I opened it, and oh no, I'm in a fantasy world.
What's the name of that movie? Fuck. It was one of those childhood movies that I really liked. I actually rewatched it recently, and now I can't fucking remember what it was called. God damn it! It was the one. It's this one. I think it was a Disney movie. I can't remember, but it's the one where the kid goes to the library. There's like a hurricane or a storm, and he goes to the library, and he like slips on the wet floor and bangs his head, and he has like this giant adventure in like the library where like he goes from like book to book. Like it starts off as a live action movie, and then it becomes like an animated movie, right? And he like goes from book to book. Like he goes to like Moby Dick with like the pirate book, the adventurer book, and then there's like the fantasy book, and then there's like the horror book, right? And they go through this like journey through all these different stories, and the goal is they're trying to like get him back to the real world, and then he like rents out the books when he because he wakes up and he's like got the free books that he was adventuring with, and he rents them out, and it's all about overcoming your fears, right? The whole point of the movie is like about overcoming your fears, because the guy's like, the kid is like constantly afraid of everything, and it's stopping him from making friends and stuff, and so then he like overcomes his fears through this like adventure that he has with these books. I think it was called like the Page Master or something like that.
That sounds like a thing that I might have heard at some point in my life.
No, it's not the Never-Ending Story. No, I think it's called like the Page Master or something like that. And it's like, yeah, it was one that I watched when I was a kid quite a lot. It has this really trippy fucking scene when he gets transported, because he slips over and then he wakes up in the dream, right? And it's like normal. But then, like, the paintings and murals on the wall start, like, dripping paint onto him. And that's how it transitions from, like, real life to, like, 2D. It's actually really fucking cool effect for the time.
All right. But back to the video.
Back to the video, though, right?
Books are a classic way to enter a fantastical world. Or maybe, or jump into paintings. That also works.
Also, Jake's... Yeah, Page Master. Yeah, I knew I'd remember what it was. Anyway, yeah. Books are a classic way to enter the fantasy world. Yeah, exactly. So But getting back to the guy's thing, though, right? It's like I don't feel this like this. Oh, these isekai protagonists are like demanding a second chance, right? Like it feels almost owed to them, right?
I mean,
Typically,
the
that's not.
protagonist in 300 Years of Killing Slime just died. I was working at my office job, and I died from working, and now I wake up. Or no, there was a goddess that says, "Oh yeah, you had a bad life. Can live as an
Here's
immortal
a second
wish."
chance. Yeah, it's
Also,
not like she felt like she was owed a second chance. She just
no, she was just
got
given
right?
it. Also, Bookworm was just, I was reading books and then I died. That sucks. Now I want to read more books.
It's like as you do, right? It's like, oh yeah, I was just reading books and then death just happens, right?
What was it? One of the shows is called something Moonlit something.
Moonlit thingy-majiggas.
Yeah.
Something.
In that world, hey, hero reincarnated. The goddess comes before the goddess. The goddess says, "Fuck you, you're ugly," and just sends him to the edge of the world.
Ah, shit.
And then he rebuilds at the edge of the world, befriends a bunch of monster people, and then later on, the goddess is like, "What? I sent you all the way over there to die. Now you're making friends with monsters. You know what? I will get my heroes, pretty boy heroes, and send them to you to kill you."
Yeah.
So that one is kind of explicitly, "Fuck you, you're going to die in the wilderness, where in the wastelands."
Exactly. But anywho, I guess we'll get back to it.
This, despite the fact that their previous life is abandoned like a ruptured cocoon once they are reincarnated into a better, idealized version of themselves. This is not necessarily...
Solo leveling isn't an isekai.
The guy who just became Finn isn't also an isekai.
Yeah, exactly.
bad, but it feels like a rather empty triumph. Success has no worth if it is achieved without acknowledging and learning from one's past failings. A lot of isekai seem...
Yeah, but the solo leveling is like the worst example you could use for that. Because solo leveling is like all about, hey, I
almost died
was
fighting
so weak,
this thing,
and then I got this power, but he still has to like actually fucking train, and he does fail, right? There's things that are happening that he's like, oh shit, you know, he had to work for it, right? Yeah, just returning back to the past can't be considered an isekai. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, it's like, oh, I have to go back and do past mistakes, right? Like, but anyways,
to avoid the idea that misery is the result of a culmination of bad decisions in someone's life, and that they should take steps to mend this. Instead, the reasoning is that it's not their fault and that they have
hey,
simply
don't go
been
hating on
born
the
into
Excel
the
world.
Yeah.
Excel world is a fun show. I won't stand for this slander.
See or read Fruit of Evolution? No, I don't think.
Nah.
No. But you know, it's I don't. I hate it when the video essayists kind of do this, because it almost feels like there's a disconnect between what he's fucking talking about and what's real. Because especially when he shows stuff like, you know, solo leveling on screen, right? Because in solo leveling, there's a lot more kind of going on there in terms of, okay, he's got this power, but he still needs to like not be an idiot, because he's still not, he's not like super OP right from the get-go. It's not like he fucking got transported to a video game world and all of a sudden he's like just able to be a badass, right? Like, because Overlord, he gets transported to the other world and he's already a badass, right? He can already just fucking nuke things, right?
Yeah.
So that's a better example, even though we wouldn't agree with it, because we know that Overlord has more to it. It creates a problem for the video essayist, man, because it makes it seem like he hasn't actually watched the shows that he's talking about, and he doesn't actually know what he's talking about, and it's kind of a problem. It's kind of a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and also, of course, we are lengthening this point by pausing a lot. That's not his fault. But what is the point here? I don't feel these people deserve the isekai that they get.
Yeah, it's a very like, and what does this have to do with the main issue of isekai? Like, is the main issue of isekai that these undeserving dregs of society, I guess, in this guy's perspective, end up getting isekai'd and having to, have a good life? It's also weird to use Mushoku Tensei here because that's the whole fucking point of Mushoku Tensei. Is that Rudy becomes a better person through his
He
experience.
kind of flip-flops on Rudy is a good character, Mushoku Tensei fixes the flaw of the shows that came out that were written after Mushoku Tensei even aired on TV.
Yeah, pretentious
but
is
also,
Five-O's right. Like, pretentious is the best, like the way that I would describe this, right?
But also, Rudy getting fit is also power fantasy-ish.
I guess. There's this weird. See, I don't want to make this political, but there has been this really weird kind of like anti-fit movement. It's not so much now, but it was like a couple of years ago. I remember seeing some videos about it. There's this really, or like seeing tweets about it as well. There's a bunch of people that have this really weird, like, wanting to have personal improvement and getting fit is fascist because some really retarded reasons, right? Some really stupid reasons, and that it kind of feels like that a little bit here, where it's like, he self-improvement bad for some fucking reason, right? Like, he got transported to another world and now he's like trying to not fuck up the same way that he fucked up in his past life, right?
Fucking up along the way.
Yeah, and fucking up along the way in different ways than he fucked up originally, right? So there's kind of like there's this weird thing going on here where like self-improvement bad for some reason, and I don't understand it. I really don't fucking understand it. But anyway, let's continue because we gotta get through there.
World, and therefore need a new one where they can be better. So why compare isekai to traditional fantasy? Why put Frieren on the spot when
Jake is like, that's bogus. I was just recorded a new video about being fit as fascist just 3 days ago, uploaded Mint. Maybe we'll have to cover it. We can cover about how getting fit is fascism. Yeah.
Yeah, we have enough anime stuff for the coming.
We have enough anime to cover. We can't become a political podcast too. It's not gonna end well. But anyway, let's continue.
And these two genres can coexist and be enjoyed.
I want to watch my grandma movie.
But anyway, back to the video. He's talking about how so both these genres can coexist. They can coexist. So
I believe that it's an interesting comparison because Frieren's message is the exact opposite. It's a breath of fresh air to these settings, a reminder that high fantasy is not dead, but simply misused. More than anything, it is a manifest against the morally dubious and self-indulgent values that most...
The morally dubious and self-indulgent values. What?
I mean, Slime is, of course, a pro-slavery show, so...
Yeah, well, yeah. But, like, hang on, I gotta go back. I gotta hear that, like, whole section again, because I'm like, what the fuck is he trying to say here? Where were we? We're like,
fantasy. Why put Frieren on the spot when these two genres can coexist and be enjoyed separately?
Okay, so why put Frieren on the spot when these two genres can coexist together? Okay, right, fair question.
Well, I believe that it's an interesting comparison because Frieren's message is the exact opposite. It's a breath of fresh air to these settings, a reminder that high fantasy is not dead, but simply misused.
So a reminder that high fantasy is not dead, it's simply misused.
More than anything, it is a manifest against the morally dubious and self-indulgent values that most isekai seem to put forward. And I will...
Okay, hopefully he fucking explains it in a minute. Because holy shit, dude. Because it's such a weird way to frame it, right? Like, the isekai, the self-indulgent power fantasy is morally dubious, right? It's kind of like it's weird because we were just talking about, like, getting fit is fascism, which is a left-wing thing. This is like a right-wing thing, right? where it's like, oh, real men eat rocks and chew grass, right? No fun allowed. Must work a 50-hour work week. Come home, fill diaper with fucking I don't know, poison ivy, and not complain about it. Real men, grr, no escapism allowed, right? Don't have fun, right? It's a very weird kind. That's a very right wing kind of position that I've seen, right? Where people do that kind of shit. So I'm kind of like, all right,
But yeah,
very weird.
All right, if I'm going to, unless he's going to himself already, but to look at Freerun as a show, and what is Freerun as a show about in general? Cherishing the connection you make along the way.
Yeah, it's about, hey, life is short. The people around you are not going to be there forever. You should get to know them, and you should have fun with them.
Don't fear them letting them go.
Yeah, don't fear them going. Yeah.
Letting go, but not pushing them away or just casting them away. Letting go, not throwing away. So, what is... Maybe he just does have a problem with Isekai, because Isekai is often about, cutting off or abandoning a part of your life, abandoning a part of the world. But in most cases, in the case of 300 Years of Killing Slime, work killed her. The society that she was actually lethal, actual death to her. There's not a world you want to go back to. The world of Mushoku Tensei was a world where he was kind of bullied into social isolation.
Yeah, psychological trauma.
What else? I mean, there are a couple of other shows. Ainz's world is never mentioned in a light novels per se, but Ainz is in a future.
It's implied that it's like a future, and it's very like it's not great.
Climate change, run amok. You need to wear oxygen masks outside. The only real entertainment you have is indoors in your own VR headset. Work kills you, and if you die, work doesn't care. You'll just be replaced. It's a big dystopia. It's the big capitalist dystopia, Nretsew. Capitalism killed climate change. It killed human dignity, and the only escape you have is playing a game after work for 2 hours before you have to go work again.
Yeah.
And so those are the worlds that the Isekai protagonists flee, go away of. So I'm not going to say that they are, running away. I guess the only character that comes to mind right now that's running away is kind of Subaru in ReZero. He was a hikikomori, and his life could have been okay, but he just kind of fell out. He fell out of a social...
He fell off, yeah.
He fell out of social interactions. He hit a wall, and instead of growing and becoming a person, he just lost all confidence and just pretended to be cool afterwards. Right. While not actually being. But Subaru isn't really rewarded in a sense, so I don't.
Well, no, because he gets fucking beat the shit out of and killed multiple times. Yeah. So I feel like this. I'm interested to see how this guy explains himself and why, because like this first kind of part of the video has just been him kind of vaguely talking about why Isekai bad, right? Like, oh, it's power fantasy. Like, that's the only thing I really got from it is, oh, it's power fantasy bad, right?
Yeah. Also, David, I'm going to define Isekai for a moment. Isekai is, from what I think, best understood as a world that exists independently of your own, which is explored. So something like Log Horizon isn't is more of an isekai, because that world is, you explore that world around. You know, interact with the people who live there, interactions, etc., etc. Gate is an isekai because you explore the new world. Also, the world of Log Horizon exists independently of Earth. Sword Art Online isn't an isekai because the world doesn't independently exist. If you shut down the servers on Earth, if the Earth explodes, Sword Art Online stops existing. When the Earth explodes, Log Horizon still exists. Gate still exists. The aspect of being a world to be explored in some way is kind of more of a feeling, because you know that kind of stuff doesn't really apply for villainous stuff. So it's of course it's all kind of a murky definition. No, Steins Gate isn't an isekai. It is a time travel story. I wouldn't say Inuyasha is an isekai because it's really a past. It's more of a hidden world kind of deal, you know, the hidden mystical world, a peek beyond the veil. Magic always existed. It's just not practiced anymore. That's what I get from Inuyasha. Other stuff like in Magnus Bride, there is a fairy realm. But that fairy realm exists through gates through the forest. But Nretsew, if you ask me, if the Earth exploded, I don't think those fairy realms exist either.
Probably not. And it's probably not something that's really being factored into, because yeah, it's not. Isekai tends to be very deliberate with how they set up the world building to be separate like that. So, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Explain why I think this.
Yeah, please do. Please do explain to us why you think this.
Frieren is a story that starts at the end of another. The main antagonist...
Oh god, is he just gonna fucking explain the plot of Frieren?
No.
Oh, please. We might have to 2x speed this if he's just gonna be doing plot summary.
The Demon King has already been defeated by the hero Himmel and his companions. Ison, a dwarven warrior, the priest Heiter, and Frieren, an elven mage who lived a life of isolation for thousands of years before joining the hero's party. As the heroes go their separate ways, we are left following Frieren to what we can only imagine will be a happily ever after. But it turns out to not be as happy as we could have hoped,
lives a long
given
life.
that our main character has to see her companions age and ultimately pass away, knowing that she will remain behind. Again, this is nothing new to fantasy. The genre as we know it was born from J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, and even he had already started thinking about the philosophical implications of relationships between long-lived races like elves and mortal humans. The natural intuition is that this is going to be a sad story about the tragic nature of immortality and of losing those you love to the inexorable passing of time. But this is where Frieren is different as a story.
Okay.
The elven mage realizes that she made a terrible mistake. Had she tried harder to keep in touch, had she visited more, she would have gotten to know Himmel better. But she didn't, and there is no magic in the world that can give her back the time she wasted. So what does she do? She vanishes for another 20 years, falling back into the same old habits she had before she went on the journey. But she is not the same as she was before. The journey changed her.
Yeah, we're not saying a whole lot just because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's
I like
Furin,
it.
yeah.
I like this. I mean, it's better than Mother's Basement because he doesn't summarize
I guess
each
he's
scene.
not like because of the guy's pretentious prose, right? He's not as boring to listen to as Mother's Basement, where Mother's Basement is just deadpan ass reading a Wikipedia entry, right? This is a lot more, flowery, which I guess is fine for this kind of like summarization. But the problem is that I don't feel like you needed to do like a full plot summary of Frieren to kind of make the point, right? Because I want the explanation of okay, well, why Frieren is morally superior, I guess, to fucking Isekai.
Or to all Isekai.
Yeah, and he does that other thing too. Yeah, Jake points it out. Like he like pauses and has like these really long music sections as well. Like, bro, you don't need to. This isn't 2015 anymore. You don't need to drag out your video to be more than 10 minutes, right? It's okay. It's okay to have a short video now and then. All right, you don't need to drag it out. Okay, like come on, bro. Yeah, he knows how to pace his delivery. Yeah, exactly. So. Ooh, fancy music. Ooh.
No.
Oh, it's so happy.
Eventually, chance has it so that she visits Heiter, who, on his deathbed,
We're still on Heiter,
entrusts
so this is episode 2. Are you gonna...
Oh no!
her
Is
with
he
his
going-
adoptive daughter, and Frieren accepts.
Yes. And then he dies.
This is where the tone of the story changes,
And then it
and where the journey
changes.
truly begins. As she becomes responsible for a human life, Frieren can no longer live in the way that she used to.
私一人の時間ってわけでもない。もう少しって何年ですか?
This story is not an epic fantasy. It's about traveling and seeing what's around the next corner. While the action may pick up eventually, there is no promise of it. It just kind of happens. Could be that they have to fight a dragon, could be that they have to pick up produce. At times, the way in which Frieren chooses to travel, the quest she takes, and the
yeah. This editing is so manipulative to Frieren viewers who watch this unironically shaking my head. I don't know if this is really that different from what Spice and Wolf does. Frieren deserves praise, but I don't think it's nearly as unique as he's trying to make it out. Yeah, he's kind of hyping it up a bit, which I've seen a lot of people kind of doing with Frieren, and it's like, yeah, we both agree, right?
Yeah, I mean,
good.
I would
good. There's a reason she's like the fancy image thing that you have for when there's nothing on screen. There's a reason we put her in there. We might be changing that eventually, though. That might
eventually, but Frieren is just looks good in this
yeah, it's just good. Yeah, it's like, what do you want? It's just a good fucking, it's fine.
Yeah.
Again, he hasn't really gotten to the point yet. He's got 8 minutes left to make the point.
what she accepts seem downright foolish. At least, that's how it appears at first to her new companions, Fern and Stark, who are both pupils of her former comrades. What this show does brilliantly is that the two humans that Frieren takes under her wing are learning things about their elf companion alongside the viewer. Frieren
It's just storytelling, introducing a basically character who doesn't know a thing, so you can explain the thing in the form of the audience, audience, was it surrogate thing?
Yeah. Fuck it. Come on, man.
For over 1,000 years, she has woken up and not been.
Alright, fuck it. I'm making an executive decision. Playback speed. Let's go. Let's try 1.25. Let's see what it sounds like.
Person. She buys seemingly useless, unnecessary
No, not fast enough. Yeah, let's go. 1 point. Let's go.
junk on impulse. She often tries acting like she's a mature beauty.
Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Yeah, there we go.
Through these quirks and other little things, what becomes clear is that Frieren is not bothered by her nature as an elf. Her very long lifespan is not something that she resents, and if anything, she seems to be quite comfortable with herself. She exudes this sense of inner.
Oh yeah, the elf that's lived her entire life as an elf is comfortable with being an elf. Who would have fucking guessed?
Yeah.
Who would have What a deep philosophical point he has made. Fucking. All right. God.
What's
God,
it
it's
called
so
again?
contentious.
This is this unconscious racism towards elf nerds. So
It's unconscious bias, unconscious racism. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's huffing his own farts. Yeah, exactly. He is. He's really doing some heart fuffing right now. Like, fucking Jesus. Yeah. Skip the I'm a great video editor to the this is my opinion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Peace and self-assuredness, which is very unlike what you would see in a human who was given immortality. But there is also a silly aloofness to her that makes us understand that despite the differences that she has with humans, she is still a person with feelings, desires, and memories. And she has a lot of them.
エルフの感覚はわかりませんね。まったく、いつから生きているのやら。
One of the perks of having an elf protagonist is that she has seen a great many things, but also that she has a very long memory. Frieren is a repository of knowledge, and as a mage, she has amassed a
Yes, we know you want to put your dick in your elf waifu. We get it, okay?
She is an elf and lived a long life.
Yeah. We get it. You want look, I want to put my dick in the elf waifu too, okay? Like I've seen some good doujins from Frieren, okay? Right? She's hot, all right?
Really?
It's
I
fine.
don't think
It's
the
okay.
film doesn't make a good doujin protagonist.
I was reading one that was a bit intense, but it was like she like gets captured or something, and she's like going along with it, but then they do like a thing where they like use some aphrodisiac on her, and she ends up getting enslaved. It's actually quite good. It's actually quite good. Because they do like a fucking like, oh, she's like just playing along until it's like it's all fun and games until it's not. It's like, oh shit. It's quite a fun one. I'd have to remember what it was. I'd have to go find it.
Just if I want to
look, if you go on fucking whatever hentai site is preferred and you just look for fucking fear, and you'll probably find it. But
there won't be that many.
Yeah, exactly, right. But again, my point here is like, yeah, we get it. She's cool. She's a cool character. She's got a lot going on, right? We get it. Can we maybe make a point now, right? Like we understand, right? Anyhow, let's continue.
Veritable panoply of spells.
Yes, she do big magic. Look at the magic. Look cool.
Most of them are extremely specific. A spell that makes ice shavings without syrup. A spell that removes rust from statues. A spell that turns sweet gray.
Yes, she likes weird magic spells, things that do
it's
things.
her thing.
Yeah, she does thing. Yeah, it's like no fucking shit. Like, God, it's like fucking come on, man. Come on, man. Get on with it.
Sour? You get the gist. Okay, so the premise of the show is that Frieren drags Fern and Stark along in these adventures to get wacky grimoires.
Well, no.
I think he's going to say no.
Whoa, wait a minute, Mr. Media Literacy man.
I think he's going to pull a 180. He says no, it's actually a somber story about what it means to die, whatever.
Well, no, because the character, it's not just like an episodic. Oh, they're traveling around getting all the grimoires. No, the point of the show is they're trying to get to the edge of the world, right? They're trying to get to where the Demon King's castle was.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying he's lying right now, and he's going to say jokes. JK, it's actually about
JK, fucked up. Oh boy. Okay, but anyway, let's keep going.
On the surface, it may seem like a simple, fun slice of life adventure, but there is more to it.
Oh yeah.
Village to village, fight by fight, season after season, we see as they learn to understand each other more. Through every experience, the many themes of the show become intertwined with every narrative decision, and every character that is encountered has a little something to add to their meaning. Characters.
Well, again, my problem is like he's completely left out that's the central plot point. Like they are trying to reach a destination.
Yeah,
sure, the story is about the journeys along the way. But he's not. But he hasn't. Like you would think he would make that clear. Like the way that he's talking about the show makes you think, oh, it's just like an episodic. Like, oh, there's no destination at all. They're just kind of wandering around the fucking world, right? But it's like, no, there is a set destination, right? And it's very weird.
Like Graf Granat, Old Man Vol, and even demons like Qual all help continue reflections that were started in previous episodes, and set up new ideas that will continue to be expanded on organically as the show continues. Most importantly, living characters share the screen with individuals who remain only in Frieren's memory, like her master Flam, and of course, Himmel. That's how the story remains compelling. At every step, Frieren is reliving the journey she made with her original party. It does not matter that we did not get to experience their journey directly. Through Stark, we understand Eisen's true strength and the power that he drew from humility. Through Fern, we understand Heiter's casual grace and the kindness that he hid behind sin. Through Frieren, we understand Himmel. We understand the fundamental qualities that made him into someone fit to be a hero, but also into a good friend. Through all of them, we understand the point of the journey.
What's the point of the
Heroes
journey?
Yeah, yeah. Look, he's a smart man. Okay, he understands, but he's not going to tell us.
The point of Frieren's journey was to defeat the Demon King, and though Frieren treated that as the point of the journey in and of itself, the others kind of took it as a bonding thing, a lifetime friendship thing. Frieren didn't, and looking back, oh damn, I actually also was doing the Friends Forever bondship thing, but I didn't really realize. Let me go back and retrace my steps, and look for the memories, look for the signs before they're all gone. Also, I'll collect some magic along the way because that's what I think is fun. But I'll do that. Oh damn, Himmel. I have so much things to say. Actually, I'll go north to do that. Yeah. So. And there is a lot of good things to say about how the show uses flashbacks to show characters being so cool that you kind of forget that they're dead for 100 years. Or no, more like 30 years. 40-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show does so much good stuff. Why? What is this about? The point, the vague point of the journey.
The journey, yeah.
And
It's
what did he say about? No, the point isn't about learning Frieren's particulars that she is late in waking up, or that she has a bunch of random spells. That's not the point of the journey. The journey is, growing together. Doing things together, being better people together, and whether that is Stark overcoming fear, or Frieren or Fern, speaking more her mind instead of bottling things up, or Stark becoming more and more brave,
and fear and learning to be more human, I guess.
And along the way, Frieren is going through her all the memories again, seeing them in new light, and kind of this is doing a redemption run, doing it's kind of like a near replicant second run where you kind of suddenly hear the voices of the enemy. Oh damn! Now I have all the context. If anybody knows what I'm meaning, what I mean when I say the near replicant second run.
Also, I have a gift for the chat. I have some numbers.
Give me the title, because I have a.
No, I'm gonna be gay. I'm gonna do numbers. There you go.
I hate numbers. I am so secretive.
Ooh, the numbers. The numbers. What do they mean? Yeah, what do the numbers mean?
Give me the title. We all know what you are talking about. Give me the title.
It's defeated Frieren, translated by Lux, Lux Salamo or whatever. Apparently it's like
Frieren. All right, that's
yeah. I think the artist is the artist is Lux. Luxumo is the artist. It's a two-parter, so that's why there's two numbers. And it's basically that's the one I was talking about. I read it a while ago and I was like, damn, that's fucking. It's a little bit out there, but it's quite good. It's quite good. But yeah. Let me get back to the video now since I can close those tabs. But yeah, there's your numbers, boys. Have fun.
that is literally thousands of years old, who has seen entire civilizations collapse into dust and killed some of the
No,
most
she hasn't
powerful
seen
beings
entire civilization collapse into dust. She's seen one civilization grow from a village into a city, into a castle town.
Yeah. Again, he's media literacy.
Just making things up to make it more.
Just making shit up. Yeah.
He could have just shown the small clip of Frieren building a cabin in the woods, and from her high hill in the woods, she sees a small homestead turn into a castle town.
Yeah, exactly.
And just because they're not wearing togas anymore, doesn't mean the civilization has collapsed.
Yeah. Billions must... Civilization has collapsed. Billions must die. No togas. But anyway.
And yet, all it takes is spending 10 years in the company of good friends for her to become willing to change. It doesn't happen overnight. Change is a slow process. Frieren had to lose before she learned the value of having. Rather, by losing it, she finally started thinking about what she had.
This is the thing?
It's fine to...
Frieren, good! Frieren, good! Did you know Frieren was good, Ellie?
No, he said a thing, and I think that is his problem, where the Isekai protagonists don't lose, and therefore they don't learn to gain.
Which is kind of, yeah, I guess, alright. Is he gonna do it? Let's find out.
Be afraid. That's how you become brave. It's fine to enjoy the things that you enjoy. That's how you become your own person. It's fine to make mistakes. That's how we learn.
It's fine to enjoy the things you enjoy, unless they're isekai, in which case, fuck you. You're an immoral piece of shit.
Where's the lie, Nretsew?
I know that's a bit bad faith, but that's that's the kind, because that's what he says. His own words. He said, "Oh, it's morally deficient isekais," right? So,
and you can make a mistake alone, but it's always better to make mistakes together. It seems that it was always short-lived mortals who left a mark on Frieren, even if from her perspective they were only together for a short time. And we understand why these mortals stuck around with her despite knowing that she would outlive them. They simply liked her and wanted to be remembered by her.
oh, okay, all right. Are we gonna get to a conclusion now? Can we go playback speed 1? Go back.
How much of the video isn't left, Nretsew?
He's at 5. About 3 minutes.
Ooh,
About 3 minutes left.
Let's do normal speed for now.
Yeah, let's let him cook. Let's let him cook for his conclusion. But that whole section was just, yeah, Frieren's good. It's like,
how
okay,
long was that
yeah.
section? Because it
was quite long. It was quite
5
long.
minutes,
I mean, we started.
8 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Strategic use of 2x speed was quite useful there. But anyhow, let's get going.
And whether she knows it or not...
Oh man, now it feels weird.
Yeah,
now it feels weird.
Yeah, I have to deal with it.
Okay, alright.
Through magic, Frieren has decided to do the same for others. Because if a spell exists, it means that someone created it. It is the culmination of someone's toil, of their frustration and research, of their dedication and passion. Even after their body has withered away and their name has been forgotten, the spell remains. Like a song or a story.
Yeah, okay.
Like a song
as long
or
as it is
story.
learned and passed on, it will forever bear the mark of its creator. And it doesn't hurt if, by learning the spell, you can make the sour grapes that your friend likes. This is Frieren's philosophy. You do not need a second life or a second world in order to have a second chance.
人間の寿命は短いって分かっていたのに、なんでもっと知ろうと思わなかったんだろう。
お前はいつか大きな過ちを犯し、人を知りたいと考えるようになる。
Because it's never too late for you to change. And it's fine for you to rely on...
Frieren, good!
Alright, Nretsew, you are worked to death at your Japanese company. Just change.
Just deal with it, bucko.
The world is ravaged by climate change. the world is ravaged by climate change. You need to wear an oxygen mask
Yeah,
to
I'm
walk
14
outside.
and this is deep. Yeah, straight up.
And
straight up, Jake.
your life is replaceable in the capitalist dystopia of the future. Just change, my bro.
Just change, my dude. Just change for the better. Become a communist.
You're being bullied into a social anxiety of even looking outside of your window. Just become better.
Yeah. Oh, fuck me. Alright.
On others to help you become who you want to be.
その時はここに帰ってこい。
How does this... So, okay, all I've gotten so far, and he's only got like 2 minutes left, so I don't think he's going to manage to pull this off, right? Like, Isekai is bad because wish fulfillment fantasy bad. No fun allowed. No power fantasy allowed. No self insert allowed. Can't no bad, right? Fearing good because fearing about change. Big brain. It deep, bro. Super deep, bro. Cool. Yeah, it's not like those. That's why Isekai got fixed by fearing. Just like all he's saying is Isekai just needs to be deep, bro.
So I feel that unless he's going to say it here right after this, the problem with Isekai, as I see it, as I think he sees it, is that Isekai says change is impossible. Changing is impossible because it only can happen when you go to this other world.
Yeah, you can't change in your own world. You have to go to other world to change, and then
However,
you have to change other world. Yeah.
Nretsew, maybe this other world is kind of a metaphor kind of deal.
Yeah, holy shit! It might be. Oh man, I wonder if maybe I gave this a bit more thought instead of just trying to show off how cool of a video we did. maybe.
No, I never
I'd be
read
able to-
Full Night.
Yeah. Anyhow, let's continue.
って言ってんだ。手助けしてやる。
Freeran is
Alright,
about
Nretsrew,
hearing-
this is minor nitpick. Why is this subbed when the ReZero earlier was dubbed?
I don't know. Who knows? Anyway.
the people you have met in your life with you, carrying their lessons, their silly quirks, their kindness, and paying it all forward. The beauty of the series is that although it all starts with tragic loss, grief, and regret, it is not a condemnation of eternal life, but rather an ode to the beauty of things that are ephemeral, and of how sharing their memory can make them truly immortal. Thanks for watching our video.
Alright, Nretsew. Slightly unrelated, slightly...
If you're a fantasy fan,
Alright,
I
hang
really
on.
do recommend that you give Freeran a try, even if anime is not your thing. It's
Anime is
leading the
not
charge in a resurgence of the genre that I am very excited for, and I for one cannot wait for later parts of the manga to be adapted because I think it only gets better with time.
Okay.
Alright, cool.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting. It does help us tremendously.
Okay. All right. Well.
Alright, Nretsew.
He's still got 30 seconds. He's still got 30 seconds left. So I don't know what the fuck comes after
I was
whatever.
going to say something before I forget. I think Nretsew, how does he think about the life left behind in Oshinoko? Because that guy,
Good question.
the guy he left behind in Oshinoko is kind of it's almost a literal demon.
Yeah.
Aqua would be a
Haunts
better
him.
peer person if the professor was left behind.
Yeah. If the doctor. Yeah.
If the doctor was left behind.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was a very bad video. He didn't even have like a point, right? Like there wasn't actually a point made at the end. It was just, isekai bad because power fantasy, and then fearing good because deep. And
No,
he didn't tie it together into a point that would have been okay, isekai, like what you did, right, where you tied it into a point. He didn't actually do that in the video, right? It ended up just being like, oh, I'm gonna jack off Frieren for like, I don't know, half the runtime of this 18-minute video, right? So yeah, how do you fix isekai? Well, I guess you just make it deep.
Yeah, so I think I get kinda what he was going for. In that the problem with isekai is that it's a big cutoff, big abandonment of your previous life, your previous connection, of your previous consequences, of your previous actions. And Freerun is then more about looking back on what you did and growing from it. Well, he sees isekai as kind of abandoning everything you do. All your actions will have no responsibility. You're not longer responsible for your actions that you did, because that's all left behind in the previous world. So, of course, many characters, I mean, most famously, Mushoku Tensei, but also Overlord Man, carry huge social anxieties from their previous life into the new world. And in the new world, they learned how to deal with all those problems. They don't get abandoned in the new world. And the characters that don't have these social anxiety problems in the new world, they don't have them.
They don't even have that problem to take over with them to begin with, right?
So, I never continued Emissary in Shadow because he was just...
You weren't into it, yeah.
No, he was just dumb, Nretsew, so he was just stupid and annoying. And I hope he would grow as a character.
You're dumb, Ellie. You're dumb.
No, that character is dumb and annoying. Anyway. Therefore, I stopped watching. I hoped he would become a better person, but he never became a better person. And yeah, if that was my problem with Emissary in Shadow, that is, he didn't leave behind really anything, you know? He just continued who he was.
Yeah, I want to become big, strong, Eminence and Shadow Chuny man. And now I get to become... Yeah, and then he did. And then he did. How about I do anyway, right? So yeah, I agree.
Freerun is...
It's almost like different stories can do different things, Ellie. Does this,
but
is that a thing?
The idea that... Also, it's completely unfair. Freerun is immortal.
Right.
Freerun can regret a thing 1,000 years and still make good on it in her own way. The person who died from overworking in... And let's not do again 300 Years of Killing Slime. I used her for two times already. Alright, kind of real regret. Characters that were Isekai characters that regret. Let's do Subaru then again. Alright? Subaru kind of regrets living the way he lived. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that Tanya really regretted anything. He was just...
God was like, haha, fuck you.
And he was like, fuck you. I don't regret anything. You. No, but Subaru kind of regrets how he lived, right? He was just kind of, hiding from the world. I think he would rather see Subaru just learning the lessons without an isekai. Because that kind of diminishing...
doing it in his own world, yeah. But again, it kind of defeats the point, right? And I feel like a lot of these video essays, they lose the forest for the trees a little bit, and they kind of like they can't really articulate what they mean very well, which is quite weird because he has this air of being well articulated, but it ends up not. It ends up not really working, I guess.
Yeah, but something like Local Horizon isn't even a second chance. It's just Kidnapping.
Yeah, it's just something. Why are we here? We have to get back. Okay, maybe some of us don't want to get back.
While
so
we try
let's-
to get back, let's fix up a base here.
Let's,
oh no,
let's figure this out.
we have to do an
Society.
organization. We have to form kind of a government. Oh no, politics. Oh no, resources.
Big society.
Foreign
Time,
relationship.
Big faction building thing stuff happen.
Yeah, and Overlord is from oh damn, how do I stop all these consequences of my inaction?
There's also like how the world reacts to Ainz as well, right? It's a big part of Overlord is about not just Ainz doing stuff, but how does the world react to the cataclysmic threat that is Ainz, right? So yeah. So yeah, I feel like this was not a great video. Wasn't that great? I feel man didn't really make a point. A lot of talking, not a lot of point making. So what did we learn today, guys? If you want to make a commentary video, at least have a conclusion. Yeah.
Articulate your conclusion.
Articulate your conclusion.
Because
I'm
making up his conclusion, what I think his conclusion
is.
Yeah,
you're doing all the work for him. Yeah, you're doing all the work for him. You shouldn't do that. It shouldn't be on. It shouldn't be on us, the viewer, to make up the conclusion for it.
I guess I'll have to put one out for my fellow Dutchman, I believe.
Yeah, pull one out. All right. Well, I'm gonna grab a drink. Fill up my glass with some drink. You talk about an anime. Find an anime.
All right.
Talk.
I have a question for
anime
Jake.
talk time. Let's go.
Jake, where did you send a Discord friend request thing while we were here? Hey, it is burner account apparently. Hey, all right. I mean, how many people are suddenly going to Discord friend request somebody in the middle while they previously said they were? Alright. Questions, Tanya, no, David. Learn to something today. Free run, publish a manga site. Yeah, that's also a thing. That's right, Jake. Free run started as a manga, as a professional work. Therefore, it does have this, different story convention are going on. Hey, is Samu still here? Does he have a chance of redemption or Nretsew? Damn, I thought Nretsew was back. All that noise. Marry all the points with thanks by using character Isekai where free run is used. Okay. I don't know, I will be more respectful if it points out how the storytelling in free run and how shows how it will make a generic Isekai become decent. Yeah. I don't think in the global overall story in free run, you could kind of make this about anything, really, right? You could place it in an historical setting. You can make this kind of in a science fiction future science fiction setting. Just do some cryo sleep thing or something. I don't know. By the same token, you can make this an isekai. But instead of free run having lived in this world, just have her her journey remind her of the life she lived and regret the things that she did. And at the end of this, at the end of her journey, there might be a portal to go back home or something. That might be something,
What are you yapping about?
Well,
what are we yapping about?
David said, how does become if you transplant this story onto an isekai, does this isekai suddenly become decent or good or something?
That is a good question. That's a very good question.
Well, I started with free run could kind of work in any setting. The story of free
as long
run.
as you have, like, you could have like guy gets isekai'd, but he's immortal in the new world, right? And then
just free run itself, not even rerun in science fiction, spaceship adventure or something, you know?
Yeah, it could work. Yeah, it would work in any kind of, because the basic general like ideas behind it are not that complicated, right? It's like,
Retreading a journey
immortal.
you regretted or something. You can
Yeah,
put it on,
retreading a journey, being immortal, like
or just
you know,
old. Doesn't really matter if
or old.
you don't have to. You don't even have to have your protagonist as immortal. You can just have them, regret a previous thing that they did in the journey that they then did. Redo a pilgrimage or something. From Spain to Jerusalem, all those boat travels, all those land travels or whatnot. Stopping by in Rome or whatever. Maybe they'll have them travel from Belgium. Big land travel and then sea travels between. Anyway, Freeman's story would work in almost every setting. Also, a isekai character who takes the role on of Frieren and then, in one way or another, gets reminded of the previous life whilst doing this new journey, and then coming to the realization that the life that they had was kind of a life regretted. And maybe at the end there might be a portal or something to go back home. That's kind of in I guess in some way talking to him again is turning back time, is going back to how things used to be. So putting a portal at the end of the journey and making Frieren an isekai would serve a similar goal in that sense. Just with the font loss. Japanese ain't that difficult, Jake. I don't know what the problem is. Is it your lack of spell check? Just type it more.
But anyhow, like I mentioned, shall we show anime?
Yeah, sure.
It's cool. We like anime. Talking about anime.
I have to get rid of this first. Whoosh.
Yeah. Whoosh. Talk about the animus that we watched. Which, I mean, I only watched 2 animus, so it's not like there's a lot of animus.
You're still lagging behind.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's not good. But anyway, what do we want to do first? What do you want to bring up?
Well, I'll knock out like 2 of them first, right? I'll talk about Elusive Samurai first.
Hey, Shoujo boy.
A lot of eyes going on.
Yeah, cute. Yeah, a lot of eyes looking at the cute Shoujo boy.
Maybe too many eyes if you see the images.
Too many eyes looking at the cute Shoujo boy.
So, last time I kind of speculated that there was kind of maybe a rival god going on or something, seeing through the eyes of animals and birds or something. Turns out this is a regular guy. He can. Yeah. If you
the worst god of them all, regular guy.
Well, Nretsrew, if you are holding fleas in your hand, he can tell the gender from standing some couple of steps away.
Right.
You can see the genitals of fleas. But he's a guy. He's just a guy,
Just a dude.
Just a dude in the world of the Elusive Samurai. So yeah, this guy is loyal to the guy that burned down the entire Hojo clan. He was here for a while already, kind of Lord Governor of this place already. But he sided with the Emperor instead of the Shogunate. So he got some new imperial decrees and whatnot. And the Suwa temple, where our boy is hiding, Hojo members are hiding there, Shota Prince included. And he wants to capture the Hojo people so he can get some more fame, as you do.
Yeah, big fame, big fame man. Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's being kind of annoying around the place, and oh yeah, I see all these people. I'll come back later and be annoying later. Hey, I'm going to sacrifice. I'll bring you a split-eared doe. Female
Oh
deer
yeah.
doe. And then he strings his bow arrow, and then let's go, and he aims at one of the priestesses, and he hits her in the ear, splitting the ear, and then he just runs off.
Refuses to elaborate and leaves.
Well, he says, "Hey, there's the split-eared doe," and then he just runs off like an ass.
Right.
But that's a very cool move, Nretsew, right? I'll give you a split air doe because they're lucky. I'll just shoot one of your priestesses and just run away real quickly.
Run away.
Yeah, I'm very cool for doing that. Nobody was impressed.
Prank, but fucking prank YouTuber thumbnail.
Yeah,
I split the ear of this priestess.
And then,
Gone wrong.
And then I run away really fast because I'm so brave. Anyway, even though he's scum in a couple ways, but he's very good with the bow, Nretsew. So the plan is, because he has seen our Shota prince, but he doesn't know that it's the Hojo clan, Tokioki, because he never really saw him. The plan is have him shoot. How would you say it? Just look and observe, and have Hojo, our Shota prince absorb the bow skill.
Right.
I don't know, blue mage deal. Just
blue mage, big blue mage energy.
Yeah. There are funny jokes and whatnot, but the point is, Nretsew, they're doing a dog shooting contest where they have blunt arrows and they shoot the dogs with the blunt arrows, and where you hit the dog while you are holding the bow in a certain position gets you more points and whatnot. Our god priest adds another rule: you can shoot each other. And of course, Shota Prince shoots our bad guy first. Bad guy gets angry, wastes all his arrows on Shota Prince because Shota Prince is good at evading. If you didn't know.
Yes.
But he gets a hit in. Nretsew.
Oh no!
And if he wins this contest, then he can just search every house whenever he wants and just kind of find all the Hojo people and kill them, presumably. When it's a Shota boy who gets hit, how terrified is he, Nretsew?
No, he's not. He's not.
No, he's aroused again.
Oh, I got hit. Oof. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so
yeah, so the Shota arousedness continues on. So that was fun. Let's go a little bit sad, Nretsew. Nretsew in the top.
Sad time. Oh
damn!
no!
I'm seeing this image is kind of clipping into the.
Oh no!
There we go.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah, no. Beauty, making up for some. Nretsew, you might have also. Oh, it goes over the paperclip. Oh, I don't want that. Ugly. There we go, making things pretty as we go along. Nretsew, that is a cassette tape, because vampires are kind of immortal, unaging beings, as you know.
As you do, yeah.
Anyway, this episode, like I previously said, is all about Fu, the greenish-haired girl, liked hanging out with this magician girl who made her own cassette tapes and music and whatnot. And they were going to go pro Nretsew. They're going to make it big together, Nretsew. They were
big views, big.
No.
Yay,
this is in the era of cassette tapes, Nretsew. pre-internet kind of deal.
As you do, yeah.
This is about Fu's backstory. So, oh yeah, if you want to know, yeah, everybody was going to everybody was going to fill in a form to what is their specialty, what do they like, and then that was going to be the basis of their YouTube channel thing that they were going to do. Fu didn't write their thing, but she snooped around in her room and then found out she likes music. Turns out, yes, she does like music, but Nretsew, when they were on the stage going to perform in a live performance, she was going onto the stage, but oh no, Nretsew, her hand was starting to catch fire because vampires just burst into flames in this setting when in sunlight. She doesn't know, our fellow magician lady, so she's, Fu, what's wrong? And Fu just runs away.
Runs away.
Forever. Because she really, really, really wanted to sing together with her, but she was kind of a vampire, so she could never go pro, do interviews and whatnot.
Yeah, kind of a bad, but yeah,
kind of a bad match, you know.
Yeah, not great.
It bothered her for a very long time, so she wasn't doing any music for what has to be 30 years. But she likes music, so for the content, she's going to get over this trauma.
For the content, yeah.
For the content.
For the content, yeah.
So turns out our music girl went to America.
Ooh.
To New York. So Fu is just flying to New York to find where she was and whatnot. Turns out she went to New York to become a musician. Sorry. And she goes to the bar where she performed or whatnot, and Nretsew, she's dead.
Oh. Big deed.
That's how vampires go. Immortal, unaging vampire.
Oh! It's just like my Frieren.
It's kind of just like Frieren. Just have Frieren have Frieren and be a vampire. Doesn't really change the story.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Look, it's so deep. It's so deep. Unlike those.
So unique. It's never nothing remotely like it.
So deep. Yeah.
Anyway, Fu gets a resolving ending from. She wasn't angry that Fu left her hanging on that stage. She was doing fine in America, and she left her Fu the guitar no, she had her reasons. I pushed her kind of hard, kind of deal, etc., etc. So, but I'm telling it all, loosely goosey, lightly 90. It's a good heartwarming story, Nretsew. It's a sad. She's dead, and Fu was very upset this entire 30 years. Regretful this entire time, and she wasn't singing because of it, but because she really wanted to sing, and now she's singing at the end. It's so sad and so happy at the end. But let's go from VTubers. Oh no, not from YouTubers to VTubers.
YouTubers to VTubers. So to this time around, we had plank fit journeys.
Long fit
journeys. You hot. Do you know about the long fit journey?
Yeah, of course I do.
That game, all of the hot VTubers be playing. They be playing that long fit journey. Legally distinct from Nintendo's Ring Fit Adventure.
Well, what are you talking about? What is Ring Fit?
Ring Fit, yeah. What is a ring fit?
What is a ring fit?
So starting off the bat, off to a good start, right? Off to a really good start with you got the. I like the contrast because you've got them all kind of sort of struggling in their own ways, in the same vein of when you have the actual VTubers doing it and they're all making the moans.
One is moaning, no, I can't. Another is
it's too long.
And the
It's
other
too big.
is like,
yeah, the other's like, yeah, and the one is like, yeah, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna perseverance.
The one is moaning, one is grunting, and one is yelling.
Yeah. Karoni doing ring fit on maximum intensity. Yeah. Gouda knows what we're talking about. Yeah. So this episode, like the first kind of third, the skit for the first part of the episode was they all do kind of these like long fit streams of the long thing, and they go through the whole, oh, you have to put in your weight and your age and your stuff. And she's like, I'm just gonna click off the screen.
As you do.
So it's quite good. It's quite good. And so after that, then we got she gets drunk and she starts watching her friends' streams because she gets permission, and one of them is talking about, oh, what is my favorite era? What's my favorite era, guys? And they have a School Days reference of all things. Nice.
I never
nice
knew that there's a Daimokoto thing in the game.
I don't know.
I have seen the anime. But I saw it like when it came out.
Maybe it was like a reference to both in a sense, right?
Well, the nice boat was there, but I think Daimokoto is a separate reference in the same game.
Maybe. So that was quite funny, and that was really good. But now there's the main kind of thing I wanted to kind of talk about, because they then get into kind of the section where they oh yeah, that's right. There was the DxD thing as well. DxD reference was quite funny.
The thing I wanted to point out is I forget her name. The main girl, the big girl. What was her name?
Ice Maiden girl.
No. The big name.
The original, the OG.
The OG.
The OG girl. Yeah.
All right, OG.
I don't remember it.
They do a quick, what does her stream look like kind of deal, and yeah, she can talk rapidly and switch topics rapidly from which direction, from beat to beat. She always has something to say, which is somewhat funny in some direction, and then pivot right away for whatever reason she wants to. That's good streamer stuff.
Yeah.
So they do a quick kind of introduction, because before this she was not even really speaking in her own voice. This is kind of the first time you see her in action, and of course this was all pre-written or pre-whatever. But yeah, this is a streamer who has streamed for a long time and know how to talk, keep talking on every topic.
And to be entertaining, yeah. And she's playing I think it's called, the card game's called Weiss or something. It's Weiss.
Yeah, I've seen it something like that before.
I've seen it around, right?
Completely unbalanced fan anime
thing. Yeah, and she gets kind of wrecked by DxD girl Rise, and I loved how they had like the nipple sensor.
It's completely pointless.
Even though she's fully clothed, they still put the like. I feel like that's just deliberate. It's like because they did. Oh, it's good. It was good. It was a good reference. It was good. Have the DxD girl show up. And yeah, so we get introduced to her through that, but then we have like the part that I kind of wanted to talk about, which was the fact that the show is playing around with perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're seeing the VTubers, right? And the VTubers are, like the way that you see it as the viewer watching the show, it just looks like, oh, the VTubers just playing themselves, right? But there's like this kind of like filter. It's hard to really explain, so I guess I'll just kind of go through what happens. So she goes to the office, and because she's like, oh, you need to go to your recording session for the big music video, right? Because you're going to be recording with one of your coworkers, right? And so they kind of she goes there and she gets picked up by generic paper man who looks like she looks like a just a fucking cartoon
Blank
standard.
avatar.
Blank avatar with weird intestine circle thing or whatever, right? And they're in the car and they have like a chat about the car and putting stickers on the car and all
Oh yeah,
this other stuff.
I do want to say I did suspect it was I was listening to that scene, or no, well, watching the scene, right? But listening to what they were saying, and from damn, she talks like a streamer with those crazy stories that are completely random and insane, but very believable. She sounds like a streamer.
Yeah. So this is kind of
I had the feeling already when she was
foreshadowing, right? But
yeah.
So they're in the car and they have this discussion, right? And they're talking about stuff. And then there's so our main Ice Queen girl, right? Or Ice Princess girl, she gets out of the car and she meets up with some of the other girls. And there's this really weird moment where they kind of introduce each other, and Ice Girl, from the perception of the other girl, changes from a paper stand-in cutout man. You really should have put a picture of the paper cutout stand-in man.
Yeah, but this was the scene where when she goes from,
paper cutouts. Yeah. So she transforms from paper cutout standout man into actual, the VTuber avatar, right? From the perception of the other girl. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's fucking really interesting. So the way that we're viewing, like, we're not getting to see what the characters actually look like, right?
Yeah.
So we are not viewing the world through the lens of reality, right? We're viewing the world through this kind of like multi-dimensional layers of VTubing, right? Where the VTubers are being perceived by us as being the VTubers they're playing as, even though in the world that they're in, they don't actually look like that, right? If this makes sense, right? Like, if this was the real world, it would be like, oh, you'd go to your HoloLive meeting and you'd all meet up in IRL and you'd all look like, real people, and you wouldn't be like cosplaying as your girl, right? People? Or whatever. Yeah, like you'd all look like just as you would look like in reality, right? But because the show has this like perception filter over it where the kayfabe is being established, if you're not classed as a VTuber avatar or someone important like the manager girl, right? You look like the cartoon cutout stand-in until you get identified as who you are, right? So now that the other girl is like, oh, you're the ice girl, right? Yeah. And then suddenly, she transforms into Ice Queen girl, right? And it's like, oh, and so that ends up happening again when it turns out the girl that she was riding in the car with was the senpai, the OG girl. Yeah, and you're going to be recording with the OG girl in your recording.
Also, a small detail what I thought was funny. When she's switching up her persona singing, she switches costumes. Although I very much assume she didn't actually change costumes while she was there.
Yeah, and that's kind of like part of that like perception filter going on, right? Like there's this really interesting, and I think it's actually really, if HoloLive doesn't mandate that all their VTubers cosplay as their characters during meetings and they don't deserve to exist as a company. God, it'd be funny. But this is what I mean, right? It's an interesting kind of like perception filter because you're viewing. Like, because I would argue that the show is a relatively accurate, like, behind the scenes of VTubing, right? Because and they're trying to be really authentic with it, right? With OBS, and they have like the cell phone that's got the VTuber app on it with the green screen thing, and the eye tracking and the tracking stuff, right? Talking about like ASMR mics and different microphones, right? And playing actual games, talking about actual games, talking about stuff that's like relevant to the culture, right? Doing a karaoke session, and that kind of thing. But instead of it being like, Oshino Ko, which we'll talk about in a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like that's a behind the scenes view of like the entertainment industry in a realistic sense, where you'll kind of see, obviously these are anime characters with the colorful hair and the stars in the eyes, and there's artistic stuff going on, right? That to kind of emphasize certain things, right? But it's not as if like you're viewing Oshino Ko, like it's not like that they're all dressed up as the characters they're playing on the play all the time, right? Like they'll change into the characters when it suits the narrative. So there's an interest. So what I'm saying is there's an interesting kind of thing here that's going on with the way that the show uses the audience perception of the world that it's set in, right?
I am not worried, but it's kind of there's a discomfort in that if you're not a VTuber, you're just a blank nobody.
I don't think the intention is that it's like a blank nobody. It's more like kind of, cardboard stand-in type thing.
Not a previous episode, I believe. It's an episode before. She was a office worker, unfulfilled nobody, and then became a VTuber, and then she became alive in a sense, right? She was a bland person before she became a VTuber. So what does it say if the show shows everybody as bland nobodies until they are recognized as VTubers?
Or at least people that are of importance, like Manager Girl.
Yeah, but
like not.
I would be more fine if no more people were shown as blank manager types. But to default show everybody as nobodies in this, right? What I feel the show has told me before. To show them as nobody is kind of odd because in the first episode, the viewers were people. In a mountain, at their desk, in their bed, on their phone, whatever. They were people. Faceless and blanks and generics, but people still. And the staff people are people. The commenters are not people; they're blank. That's understandable that they are.
Yeah, well, they're text on a screen.
Yeah, chat. Unfortunately, David, you are a blank person to me because I just see it.
You don't exist. You're not real.
Yeah, you're just words on the internet in that sense, right? But to show real people as those blank nobodies is, I don't know, it feels a little bit toxic.
No, I kind of see where you're coming from. We'll have to see how it kind of progresses, right, and see how they use it, because I feel like it's an interesting metaphor for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to have this kind of like realistic look into VTubing through the lens of having all the characters like be perceived as the VTuber avatars that they're playing, rather than like showcasing, oh, this is what the person actually looks like. Because in VTubing, showing what you actually look like is like big no, right? Kayfabe important. Don't do that unless you're like a V-tweeter or whatever, right? Right? Like it's considered like a faux pas to emphasize, because you're meant to be playing a character.
Yeah,
right?
You can
even
make
if
it
that
work,
character,
etc.
even if that character is still you, right? In the VTubing sense, right? You're just playing yourself, but you have a VTuber avatar. You are meant to, like, there is like this kind of underlying unspoken rule in a sense that the VTuber character is not the same as yourself, right? Like Kason is not the same as Kiryu Koko, right? Like, even though Kiryu Koko was being played by Kason, right? And Kiryu Koko has a lot in common with Kason, and they're relatively similar people, right? They're not technically the same. Yeah, they're separate entities, right? And Kason is like one of the few VTubers that I think manages to kind of blur that kind of line between the character and the real life persona. I think, Kason kind of Kason. Yeah, I know. The Kiwi accent doesn't help me here. You're scrubbing the dick. Yeah, no. But yeah, like she's one of the few VTubers that manages to kind of pull that whole like being able to do IRL and VTubing, being able to actually pull that off, right?
Yeah.
Because most VTubers kind of have that sort of, oh, I'm the Ice Queen girl, or I'm the pirate girl, or I'm the this and this, right? So, and they do kind of have to play into that sort of character a little bit, right? And I think that so the VTuber show is interesting. I quite like it. I think it's definitely, if you are, if you're into VTubing, you'll probably get a lot out of it. But I think that if you're not into VTubing, it actually could work as a very good, like, this is what VTubing is kind of about, right? This kind of like kayfabe type stuff where they're kind of playing this role and having fun and doing stuff.
Yeah, I am kind of semi-hoping they kind of address this perceiving as people as nobodies until they become VTubers. I
don't think they will.
No. Well, I hope they kind of change that in a sense, right? Maybe to standardize when somebody is a nobody and when somebody is just a blank, faceless person, like the managers and the viewers in the first episode, the start of the first episode. Because now I'm getting conflicting messages, right?
Yeah.
All the people here are not the people to look at the person and say, oh, they are a nobody. But still, they are portrayed that way. And based what I learned from a previous episode, if you're a gray person, you are a blank nobody in society.
So basically, what we're saying is we have to retire the Twitter people are not real meme.
Well, they are. They are not until
you have to finally admit that the Twitter people are real, Ellie.
They need to be consistent, and Twitter people has been consistently not real, unfortunately.
All right, but anyway, I guess since we brought up Oshi, we might as well go right into Oshi.
Yeah.
Since we kind of talked about it. So this was a very interesting episode. Because we kind of had the scene with the girlfriend. I'll help you kill them.
Yeah, Nretsrew.
Psycho bitches.
All right, Nretsrew, you know that I've read the manga.
Yes.
So know everything what's happening. But I forgot some details, like she said that and stuff. But still, and I forgot the exact, surroundings and whatnot. So this is still me speculating in that sense, as I normally do. This kind of feels more like she's pretending to agree than actually agreeing.
Yeah, this is the problem with actors, right?
Oh, never.
When are they acting?
Lying,
when are they not
deceitful.
acting? Yeah, because you notice, like, when she goes all psycho bitch mode, she sort of her eyes change and she ooh, like, ooh, what's going on, right? It's very interesting.
Yeah, but also because she knows Aqua's secret, it's far easier for her to say it because she knows what's going on.
Well, I don't think she doesn't, like, it's not like confirmed, right? Like she's figured it out, but she hasn't confirmed it, right? Because in the last episode she did her whole I'm gonna put the corkboard red string 2 and 2 together figure, and she does figure it out, but I don't think it's been like she doesn't have confirmation of it. She just kind of is like, this is what I think is going on.
Yeah, but
that's how I interpreted it. I could be wrong, right? Don't get me, I could be wrong, but that's how I interpreted it. Was like, it's not a matter of.
Akane is really a kind of. What she suddenly she started crying and then hugging, and all that stuff, and that's not something you do when you go, oh damn, this is a possibility. That is really from, oh damn, I know what you are going through. You know? So I think she's pretty sure, right?
Right.
And
right.
therefore it's far easier for her to say that, yes, I agree with killing.
Yeah, I'll fuck him up. I'll help you. I'll fuck him up.
Yeah, because she knows that he's going after the murderer of his mother, and that's an easy thing to say yes to. Even, regular people might say well, if you have a plan, I won't say no.
I won't get in the way. I won't get in the way. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. So yeah, that was kind of like the first thing was kind of her sort of. The other thing to consider is she obviously wants to be because he saved her and she wants to obviously be the girlfriend, right? And she wants to win the love triangle. So you could also look at it from the perspective of she's doing this to win the love triangle, right? Because she doesn't want to lose to the redhead girl in the love triangle.
I have a feeling that she doesn't really know that Kana likes Aqua, though.
I thought that was like established at the end of the last season when they were like the rival thing.
No, because Kana, the first time. No.
Yeah.
Kana, Akane is on the show, right?
Right.
On the dating show. Akane is on the dating show, Kana isn't. Kana is like, oh, you're doing a dating show. Aqua says, nah, it's all fake, don't worry, it's lame. And Kana says, great, it's not real. Then Aqua does the kissing Akane, and Akane says, bastard, you lied to me. Akane is like, alright, we're in a sort of relationship, alright, that's fine. Blah, 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 blah. And the first time Kana sees Akane and Aqua together is when they do that date thing. And Kana is kind of just there to go, hey, we're doing a play together, you're lame. And being upset that they are doing pretend dating. But Akane doesn't just sees Kana being mean again, right? There is no.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there is definitely the implication of the romantic triangle going on. And I think
but Akane isn't aware of it.
As we learn later in the episode, there is kind of like another rivalry between the two in terms of their acting style, right? That's being kind of
that's so kind of my thing is
you could look at it either or, I guess.
Yeah, but the Akane is very aware of the acting rivalry. That is the main thing. That is the only thing to her as far as she's concerned. Kana is also upset about the dating thing, but she still is she's very much in the headspace of when are they going to stop pretending?
I don't know. But let's keep moving on because obviously you've got some other images in the little image thing. Because obviously we have the love square, if we're gonna consider the real love interest shows up. And because so what happens is the sister shows up, and there's kind of like a little mini subplot about the guy who's bad at acting or is perceived as bad at acting. And he kind of has his little moments this episode, and one of those little moments is he's like protecting the other girls from the man slut, as I'm gonna call him.
Yeah.
the man slut.
Mel stops him from harassing a girl into giving out contact information and spends the rest of the episode from, hey, you stopped me from harassing a girl, I'm going to put you down every single time. Hey, you sucked at one time. Hey, you sucked at one time. Hey, you sucked at one time.
Hey, you sucked at one time. Yeah. And it's very I mean, obviously that guy's an asshole, right?
Yeah.
But I think the interesting thing to come out of that was obviously when pink-haired girl here is like, oh, maybe he's sleeping with the girlfriend or whatever. And obviously our sister character here is like, you wouldn't do that.
When suggesting that Akane, that Aqua and Akane are sleeping together.
Yeah, she's like, no, I want that dick.
No,
that dick is mine. Nah, no, it's not that. I'm just memeing.
Yeah, well,
that dick is mine. No,
for the
no.
people,
It's more
people,
along the lines of like that's not the kind of person he is, right?
It's more of like that would be a betrayal of mother.
Yeah, that would be a betrayal of mother. Yeah, and that wouldn't be the kind of thing that he would do, right? Yeah. So makes her sick, right?
The one small thing, right? This is the first time that Ruby is showing some darkness.
Yes. Ruby is like, oh, we've psychological damage, right?
Because Aqua is just a couple images above that is doing.
Yeah, we've got the very clear psychological damage. With
some
Ruby,
minor psychological damage over there.
Yeah,
but Ruby is also like, how dare you to tarnish the image of mother by
being a man slut.
Yeah,
being a man slut like our other man. Yeah.
You would betray the expectations
it's
of her mother.
because we saw that side of Ruby, but then we also saw that Ruby is still very immature and naive because she like gives the guy gets Ruby's number instead.
Yeah, I didn't catch this myself, but somebody else pointed out. This green-haired guy, right, who's pressuring pink-haired girl, Minami.
Yeah.
Melt talks to him right after and says, "That is Aqua's sister's friend. You shouldn't."
Yes.
And
you shouldn't.
But Nretsrew, when did he get Ruby's contact information?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Well, it has to be after Melt tells him that is Aqua's sister.
Yeah.
So even after Melt says, "Dude, don't
fuck around.
That is his sister," he goes, "Nah, I'm gonna get that number.
I'm gonna get that pussy. I'm gonna get that pussy." And of course Ruby is like naive about it, and the other two girls have to be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, you dumb bitch? Don't give your contact details to strange men."
She is kind of insecure about her lack of connections and stories and experience. So, in that sense, yeah, getting any number from the industry is a plus, right?
Yeah, but she's of course naive about the intentions.
Yeah, it's like
and the stuff.
Another lay in bed.
I think that's an interesting. I think it's an interesting kind of thing. I also think it's quite interesting because I'm familiar with sort of how the line messenger sort of works, where you can do, and I think you can do the QR code thing nowadays with more modern messages. I'm not a fan of that because I know that QR codes can be used to do a lot of shady shit. Pro tip, guys: don't scan random fucking QR codes in the street.
But if it's just
don't want to do that.
If it's just in the apps, known things.
But yeah, so you got to be careful with that. But basically, yeah, there's So there's definitely some interesting stuff going on, and then of course we loop back around to the end of the episode where we have the rivalry on full display, right? And they kind of talk about the two different acting they have. We find out obviously that blue hair Anane is like looked up to the redhead girl in the past. And then there was like a falling out in the style, and then the red-haired girl just wants to prove that she's not just a washed-up
actress,
old child actor, can't act anymore because she's old. She's too old now because she's lost the talent, right, and all that kind of stuff. No longer a child, right? So there's an interesting kind of like rivalry going on there that's going to be interesting to see play out in the next episodes.
I do think it's interesting. I think I have some future knowledge, so excuse me, but Akane is really just, I'm going to be the actor, the person, and that's it, right? I'm just going to be the person, and then I'm going to move like the person would and do things like the person would, etc., etc. That's her acting style, Akane. Kana is, alright, the camera is over there, the lighting is over there, you are over there, and if I speak in this voice and look this way, that would be the perfect shot.
Yeah, Jake is right. Yeah, scanning random QR codes is the realest game of Risk on any phone. Yeah, straight up, don't fucking do that shit, guys. Make sure you're careful with that because you can get fucked over real hard if you're scanning random QR codes.
Yeah, but Ruby is not Ruby. Kana, like Himikawa says, she has greater obsession with acting itself. Yeah, Kana. You see, I don't think I haven't bothered translating the book covers that she has, but I see her reading books on acting. I see her looking up the acting techniques. I see Akane more like just practicing moves and practicing becoming a character. She doesn't learn acting in that way. Kana very much is concerned with the art of acting. Akane is concerned with the act of becoming.
Yeah, there's interesting. Basically, there's interesting stuff going on.
And because Himikawa is acting with Kana, that means that Akane is going to lose.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Definitely interesting. Still interesting. Keep an eye on it. And again, it is very interesting how you have the VTuber show and this kind of to contrast, like the two, like behind the scenes of.
Yeah. Also, Mayonaka Punch as another
YouTuber one,
art production angle.
Yeah, exactly. You've got some really interesting kind of trualities. There's 3 of them, right? It's very interesting truality going on there. Word I made up on the spot. So anyway, what other fun shows have you been watching this season? Because you're watching more than me.
I've been watching shows.
Shows exist.
Shows.
Yes. Do we have another one to take off? Has one been eliminated, or are you still?
I haven't. Dungeon People wasn't out at the time I was looking to watch it. That was yesterday evening. And it wasn't there when I went to bed, so I haven't watched Dungeon People. Not dropped. It's not dropped, don't worry. But I've still got 3 other shows. Although I think I either... Oh no, wait. It's the Olympics, Nretsew.
Yes.
Show times are being moved.
You got distracted by the Turkish man.
No. Airing times have changed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the airing times are all whack, yeah.
So, I thought that there is no new episode of How to Become Ordinary.
But it turns out.
Maybe. Oh, I see one today, so... or at least one new one. It's all out of whack. So,
it's all out of whack because the Turkish man came in and shot all the animes.
Am I right? Or maybe it was previous week there wasn't a new one. Yeah, I think previous week there wasn't a new one. Anyway, it's weird. All right. So nothing new on How to Become Ordinary. Dungeon People was also late or mixed up, or is not coming next week. Pseudo Harem, Gigi Harem. Alright, so it's just get married.
Get married. Plap, 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 plap. Get married. Get married. Plap, plap, plap.
They're doing dates. I mean, there's already another year. A year has gone by now. They have summer holidays, summer vacation now. So yeah, an actual year has been passing. They are doing summer, watching
time happen. What?
They have gone to a firework Hanabi festival in Yukata, whatnot, getting the mask and the cotton candy and getting fish, those fish games and whatnot. They've been to a pool together, a water park.
Ooh, good setup. Classic setup.
He complimented her bikini.
Ooh.
They hang out another time. He's getting to know her little sister, and she spills some secrets about her as little siblings do. They do video calls together, Nretsew, when they're on holiday with a family in separate places and whatnot. There is a small interesting thing going on in that it's semi-introducing the concept of you're not always having the same attitude. You're not always happy person.
Right.
So it's kind of introduced casually when the little sister says sometimes she's lazy and just lays on the couch all day. And our main character says, "Oh, I want to see lazy Nanako Rin." Right? Like it is a separate personality instead of just another facet of yourself. Because sometimes you are the lazy person who doesn't come out, doesn't leave the couch. So if that is what it is, then it's a slight angle into you're all these personalities that you can express. The cool, the tsundere, the haughty, the naughty. These are all yourselves instead of separate personalities. But Nretsew, in Too Many Losing Heroines is in a quick switch up. The student council is like a horror movie, Nretsew.
Oh boy.
They're their horror really just like The Ring, Sadako from The Ring turning up like give me your application notices on time.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah. And they're doing because the literature club doesn't actually publish anything. Student councils up their asses because they don't actually do anything. So they're going to publish on a self-publishing site, Nretsew.
Hey.
They're actually going to publish on basically Shosetsu.
Nice.
And it turns out, Nretsew, that the president has a similar popular story on Shosetsu.
Ooh.
I forgot the title. I could look it up, but it's girl. I've been reincarnated in the new world, and now I have like 5 naked girls because I am running an onsen. Let me quickly. The slave. Oh, right. The slave girl I picked up was actually an S rank adventurer, so I decided to become a freeloader.
Lamau. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I thought I was dead when I took a tumble down my apartment staircase and I got hit by a K truck, the white truck. But I woke up in reincarnated in another world and was no longer in the big city, having more now in the great forest, blah blah. Attacked by a monster. Anyway, yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds
fun.
good. So, president of the Literature Club has actually a story our main character has read. So, meet up, reader, author. And, but there's this tension, Nretsew. The president and the vice president are acting like a couple all the time.
As they do, yeah.
Yeah, like, damn, you're not in a bikini. Shut up and carry this thing.
Right.
That kind of dynamic. So, but our redhead girl in the middle likes President Nretsew. Oh no, she's losing heroin because she has no chance because they're basically already dating. But Nretsew, when the president heroically saves her from a great injury, preventing an injury, she confesses.
Big confess, big.
I like you. I've liked you for a long time. Go out with me.
Oh boy.
Nothing, no Suki da, and then not mentioning the subject in the sentence. It's you. It's been for a while. Let's let's do this in the future.
Let's go. Let's do it.
You know, present, past, and future. And the episode ends there, and it's already out, I believe.
All right.
So things are going on. I'm going to upgrade this into one of the actual slots. No, like
all right, sounds good.
Like this thing.
Means I'm gonna have to actually maybe get around to watching it.
Well, I would. Lufa Samurai has a lot of good stuff. I didn't mention it, but they have CG horses and whatnot, and CG dogs that look kind of bad.
Yeah. Also, David's out. All right, later, David. We're winding down too.
I don't really have anything else to mention besides that.
Yeah. I don't have much else
I would have watched
either.
Dungeon People. I would have watched.
You would have watched things if they existed. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I've been keeping secrets. I guess I've been watching.
Secrets.
I've actually been keeping up with Monogatari.
Oh yes, that's a thing that's been coming out. I've seen some stuff about that.
It has a very good OP. But I'll give that at least a poster, if not another actual thing. No, I don't think I'll do, because it has a lot of baggage and backstory. I'll just say.
Yeah. So yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of news, I guess. The UN concert for Girls Frontline happened, and it was just a normal fucking concert, like I said it was going to be. The funny part though was our boy Yuzong, the head of the GFL company, right, shows up. He rocks up to the UN in a fucking suit. He rocks up to UN over the television in a suit with a fucking the UN faction in GFL, the Los Angeles or whatever. He's got one of their pins on his fucking suit. And it's I've got a tweet for it. That's a little video of him doing his.
Jake, there is a new Monogatari series.
It's coming out now. We haven't talked about it, but yeah, there is a new Monogatari. I haven't watched Monogatari, so I don't know nothing about it.
Let me quickly.
It's a big deal for those people that like the Monogataris, you know. So yeah, I linked the tweet you can bring up for GFL man. You can see how much of a shit post this was, because it's like, I love the tweet too, because it's like, it's Yuzong after showing his anime girls to middle-aged Qatari diplomats at the UN. It's just like, he looks so baller. It's fucking great. So yeah, it was a shit post. It was a real shit post. There was some really funny little things where they had, like, in the background, they had like, quality education, and if you knew the story of Girls Frontline, you would find like the picture they used fucking hilarious. Because in context, it's the funniest shit post ever, but it's one of those things that would take like 2 hours to actually explain. And they had like another one which was like gender equality, and they showed like both the male and female version of the professor and Project Neural Cloud. It was like a gender thing. It was like, it was so funny. It was so fucking funny. So yeah, so I was correct. I was right. It was a shit post. It was funny. People needed to calm the fuck down. It wasn't a big deal, you know.
Yeah, sorry, Nretsrew. I'm far more busy serving our audience by quickly looking up, searching up the OP for the new Monogatari series. Here it is.
All right. Oh yeah, you watched Blue Archive Sensei. It's pretty rad. Yeah, Blue Archive Sensei is pretty rad. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's fucking yeah, it was funny. So that was like the only real. Like, I don't think I'm looking at Twitter right now. I'm not really seeing any like big news going on.
Nah, I mean, there's the update of Intel firing a lot of people and Game
Oh
Quarter.
yeah, I was watching Gamers Nexus talk about that. Intel's like on fire right now because it's not just the man. I am so fucking glad I went AMD.
Well, I have an Intel processor, Nretsrew.
Or do you have a new one or an old one? That's the
I have a
question.
12th generation.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, 12
Your
is...
CPU is literally fucking burning itself out right now.
It's from 13 and up. I have 12.
Ah, good. You're just in time.
Yeah.
You're just in time.
Also, stuff like Game Informer shutting down completely.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's well, I mean, I used to read Game Informer a lot back in the day.
No, the problem, the thing is, Nretsrew is that the sites and then all the archived copies are immediately dead and burned.
Yeah, that's shitty. Yeah, that's always a pain. Yeah, I don't have any of those old Game Informers anymore. I don't think.
Nah, Jake, it's not the
the
circulation meme epoch, but it's a fun OP.
But yeah, the Intel thing is kind of interesting because there's a lot of. It's kind of like all the worst things that could possibly happen are all happening at once for Intel. Because I don't know if you watched Gamers Nexus's coverage of it, but they were covering all of it together. And the thing that struck me was, how they're talking about firing like 15% of the staff or whatever. The guy on the call is talking about how we have a lot of wood to chop. We have a lot of wood to chop when he's talking about firing people. And they were also talking about how like. Yeah, we're gonna have to like get rid of the like food catering and stuff and cut down on a bunch of other stuff. It reminds me of when we talked about like the whole Google thing where the chicks like these chicks will like talk about the day in the life of a Google engineer or whatever, and it's literally just like I go to work and then I eat like fancy pantsy food in my de-stress chamber or special room in the Google fucking headquarters that is wasting all of this money, right? So it's kind of the same kind of thing. It's like you're gonna fire 15% of your staff, but you can't like I don't know cut a few more fucking catering things out or something. Like come on. Come on now.
There's like a bunch of smallish news. Bungie imploded.
Bungie's dead. Yeah. Hey guys, that Destiny 2 collab with Arknight's still totally gonna happen, guys.
Also, it was also like kind of funny in a sense. Dat was trouwens een OP, Jake. This. Have you seen the angry deaths of Bungie?
No, I haven't been keeping up with it. The only thing I know about the Bungie news is that it's happening, and I was memeing about the girls not the girls, the Arknights, because there was an Arknights. They had announced that there was going to be a Destiny 2 collab like 2 years ago, and then it never happened. And people were like, what the fuck happened? Apparently, someone on Twitter told me that apparently they did kind of quietly say that, that's not going to happen anymore. We kind of, the deal kind of fell through with that. We didn't end up doing it. So that collab kind of fell through. But I was memeing about it because it's like, you guys, it's totally still going to happen.
Yeah. So the angry devs, right, is about, the CEO guy of Bungie.
Oh yeah, I did. This is about like he was like, come check out my ride.
You're fired.
Yeah, come check out my car.
Hey.
Oh, by the way, you're fired. Don't come to work tomorrow.
And he locked his account when the firing happened, and then everybody got really angry that he locked his account.
What
and
a
then looked
fucking
up,
asshole!
And then then everybody looked up. Like apparently all the cars that he bought is public, like some auction site that he always uses. Some millions of dollars are spent on cars this year alone.
What a fuck, dude! This is funnily enough, Yuzong, Girls Frontline, he had a similar thing happen because he brought a Ferrari.
Mm.
And there's always been like memes about the Yuzong's Ferrari. That's why Ferrari on the guy, the law guy, he calls himself Ferrari. It's like reference to the Ferrari, because it was people were memeing about how all the money from Girls Frontline is just going to Yuzong's like expensive car tastes.
Yeah, but the thing
and they
is,
and they even had I think it's one of DP12's skins, the office girl skin. She has like the keys to a Ferrari.
Oh, but that's having
skin.
fun, Nretsew. It's less fun.
Yeah, he's having fun with it. He's having fun with it, right? He has fun with it. This isn't fun. This is just
this is like, hey guy, oh come see my car. Oh, you have to drive for 3 hours. Now I'm your boss.
I'm your boss. You're gonna come see the car.
Aren't you a good worker? Are you a good worker to and come see my car? All right, you're a good worker. You've come to see my car. All right. It's all so nice and good. We're such a good team together. Look at my new car. I bought another one, you know.
Yeah.
And then, all right, you're all fired.
Yeah, you're all fired.
I'd locked my Twitter account. You can't complain. This was a necessary step in the restructuring of our studio.
Yeah.
Also, there's
I'd key that car. Yeah, that car is getting fucking stolen.
He really has like 20 cars. I saw like a huge list of cars that he bought. It was insane.
I don't. People are weird. I mean, I get it for like, there are some people that just really like cars as a hobby. Some people buy them as like investment things as well. Like there's like a whole thing with cars.
Well,
right?
there's a small thing when you go from, oh, we don't have any money to keep you here. Check out my car.
It's like the Intel thing. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have enough money to keep 15% of the workforce, but we'll fuck it. And the thing about the Intel thing that was even worse was they found out because of that conference call being made public. Like they weren't informed that, oh yeah, by the end of the year we're going to cut 15% of the workforce. Like they weren't informed about that until that call happened, which makes it even worse, right? So now they've got a whole bunch of really pissed fucking employees, rightfully so.
Yeah, it's a small thing, but because I am here in the Netherlands and the big machines that make all the things that make the computer chips are made here, there's a little it's not that important, I guess, but I have a slightly more knowledge base on Intel in chips in general. And it means that when Intel is doing very badly because they mess up their chips, our big company that makes the things that make the chips is doing badly because Intel's messed up. So, you know, it's kind of
it's all kind of tied together.
It's like, you know, the farmers suffer when the bread maker, the bread factory, it burns down.
Yeah, the rice fields have been desecrated.
Nah, it's the rice factory. If the rice factory burns down, then the rice fields have a problem.
Let me see if I can find. I gotta find that meme that I talked about at the beginning of the stream from Arknights, the shoe meme. Let's see if I can find it.
And there's some super even minor things, right? Something like Xbox is raising prices in Japan.
Oh, well, that's always fun. Oh yeah, here it is. I got it. You can hang on, because you can switch back to the watch together, right?
Is it? Have you put it in the watch together?
Yeah, because we can just use the same. Oh, you left the room.
Yeah, I can rejoin.
Yeah, hang on.
I usually leave because it's easier.
Because there's no point. But I could drag you in to look at funny memes, and I'll put a link in the chat too, just because I don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to steal. We don't want to steal content. We would never. We would never steal. Yeah. I'll wait till you wish it. Yeah, we would never steal content. But this is a meme from Guy. So it's a very short meme. So we could put. I'll just link. There you go. There's the link to the meme, I think. So yeah, here we go. Stop fucking around, Ellie. Make the fried rice, Ellie.
Anyway.
Stop fucking around.
Oh, because it's the gacha grid. Alright, the grid of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Can you stop fucking around? Start cooking the fried rice.
Yeah. Oh, all right. The last thing, right? We're just stretching time.
Yeah, because we're just stalling.
Now. Yeah. Fate Stay Night is getting a release on the Switch and PC, and Fate Stay. Was it Ataraxia?
Yes.
Something is also getting a Switch and PC release. That means, and also Tsukihime already got a re-release or remake.
Yeah.
Big days for
big Fates. Yeah, happy Fate fans, super happy. They'll finally get to play Fate for the first.
A lot of
Fate golets really happy they'll get to play Fate Stay Night for the first
actually playing the game.
Yeah. Holy shit. Oh man. But I mean, I'm not super into the Fate. Like, I never really gone too much into the Fates. So I've watched the animes, but I'm not super reading the VNs, right? So I can't necessarily say, oh, I'm one to talk basically as a filthy secondary. But I mean, for the purposes of like preservation, right? It's good, right? It's kind of like the Katawa Shoujo thing, where it's like, now that it's on Steam and it's on Switch and it's somewhere, right? It exists, and it's not going to randomly disappear.
So there's one minor thing, Nretsrew. What is Saber's name?
It's Artoria, isn't it?
Wrong.
Oh no, I'm wrong. Oh no, fake
the author disagrees.
Oh no.
Something like Alteria.
Oh yeah, I think I remember hearing about this debate. Yeah, because it's like, this is a bit of a debate between
what we decided it to be and what the author says it is. This is nothing. Nothing on your more strict author intent stance or anything. It's just.
Well, I mean, like if the author says it's one way, and it's almost like a GIF versus a GIF, right?
Yeah.
Like the people that say GIF versus GIF and stuff. It's like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Don't hit me with that below the belt reminder, Nretsrew. I lost my OG download of Katawa Shoujo. Oh, that's always a shame.
I mean, if you really want to, you can skip forward until you're back to the parts.
Yeah, but it's good. It is good. It is good that these games are going to be preserved, right? Because that's the key thing. Right?
Yeah,
if they start becoming like so obscure that you'd have to like track down a $500 whatever copy of the original VN on disc or whatever to even be able to play it, then it's going to be it's a bit of a fucking problem, right? It's a bit of an issue. So yeah. I guess that I was, while we were kind of doing all of that stuff, I brought up because Yuzong in GFL, he has a character that he designed himself. P6P62 is a gun that he designed. He made the character design for himself, and in the damaged artwork for the Office Lady's skin that I posted in the chat, if you zoom in on the belt, you'll notice. Oh yeah, there's a Ferrari key. There's a little Ferrari key. You put a little Ferrari key on it, and then there's also the little chibi that he uses on live streams sometimes as his VTuber avatar up in the corner as well. It's a lot of the really cool references in that skin if you know where to look, like the sunburn logo, ID badge, and the coffee machine and stuff. It's quite
by the way, I've checked it. It's the accepted fan name is Artoria.
Okay.
ARTORIA, But the official Nasu approved spelling and pronunciation is Altria.
Right.
Altira.
Well, to me, it just seems like nonsense. these fake fans getting mad.
How do you mean fake fans? These are the
No,
fans
it's fake
that...
fans. I said fake fans, not fake fans.
Fake fan.
Illiterate.
Yeah, illiterate through the airwaves.
Illiterate.
Technologically illiterate. I don't understand these audio waves.
Audio waves, my Kiwi audio waves.
Anyway, go watch COP.
Anyway, can you stop fucking around?
Never. We'll keep on doing this forever.